Warning, this video is not for the faint of heart. Those of you who don't like depressing or understandably possibly confusing things should turn away from this video now. If you stay, be prepared for depression and sadness and maybe even madness. You've been warned. In life, there's only one certain thing that anyone will ever make.
Okay, I'm not going to subject people to this any more than I already have to.
Them, repress them, or just choose.
This is sort of my positive proof of my thoughts in the day. This was one of my many parodies that I did off of the commentary community back in the day. So that's sort of my props. One of the most cringiest ones out there, even. So now that I got my embarrassed moment out of the way, as if you see, it was private, now it's unlisted, probably never be seen. This is my better example of one of my parodies of it. Enter the mind. Enter the night mind is Joyce being stalked by Slender Man. But that's not what anyone here is coming here for. Let me actually start us off with a blast from the past. The only record that I could find of MamaMax's YouTube Hell, a review of it.
Or the videos he explains or promotes influence.
Are you missing some ribs?
Yeah.
I mean, no, but I mean, I don't.
Did I click the wrong thing now? Sheesh. Yep, wrong thing.
Hey guys, Hayden here, and today we're going to be reviewing a channel called YouTube Hell.
Shh, don't worry. I'll be gentle. I promise.
Okay, so let's take a look at the layout of the channel. Hey, that's pretty good. So straight off the bat, I like this guy's taste. He seems to have a fine eye for content creators, and I see that he's a man who's not afraid to express himself. I respect that. Now, the most important part of a channel is its about section. It's like going on a date with a fine little lady. You could get straight to business and ask her to suck your you fucking dirty give it to me more.
And this is what inspired it.
Oh, yeah. But hey, whoa, drama alert, baby. Apparently, you can't just say that. You got to find out more about her first. You got to build some common ground. And the same thing goes for YouTube channels. I'm guessing YouTube Hell probably has a pretty comprehensive about section. I mean, you know, favorite colors, favorite anime.
I'm Max.
Moving on, time to get jiggy with it. The content, that is. I want to die. Now, YouTube Hell has two main...
This is very typical YouTube sort of era type music. And you know what I found funny? In a certain podcast, he says he has no relation. MamaMax claimed he had no relations with the commentary community. Quite interesting, quite interesting. So, why it's going to be hard to really go over a lot of this stuff. I mean, all this looks, some of it is very commentary. Maybe it's not. None of these records, Lieutenant Corbus Hell, even in the Hot Wet Soup, he sort of talked about some of his more commentary style videos. Sure, they're not commentaries. They probably use a little bit more editing wise. But there's definitely some commentary. Do you need words for commentary? The matter, the Leafy incident sounds very commentary. Maybe they were MamaMax's YouTube Hell. I vaguely remember this. Cynical Hell, H3 Hell, all very commentary focused. But I like get into the meat, and maybe I'll even get into that hentai review MamaMax did also. But let me break in, because you get the real meat from the podcast, in my belief.
Stupid ass thing.
So there does seem to be a hint of a lie here.
Yes.
I remember at VidCon when I heard it, I was like, holy shit, you actually do kind of sound like that. I was like, holy shit, like it's not quite the corpse husband.
So it's not quite a voice changer, or at least that's what MamaMax is claiming here.
But it's almost there.
Right.
Does it strain your voice to do that? Like the
So the deep one for the videos?
yeah.
Yes, it does.
Is it like the metal growl? Like is it like a falsetto? How do you do that voice?
So it's so horrible. I had to get vocal surgery because of it, because I had cysts on my vocal cords because I kept doing it.
Really?
I would cough all day.
Oh my God.
That's
And
what
then
I mean.
the next morning, my voice would be deep AF. So
That's
what
going into the deep dive. You know?
My voice would be deep AF. I mean, it probably would be. I can't imagine that felt good, but Jesus Christ.
No, yeah, it swells up your vocal cords like a vocal cord infection.
But it makes your voice super sexy.
It does, yes.
That reminds me of like the Family Guy episode where Peter gets sick on purpose to sound cool.
You make videos about like predators and like creeps on YouTube, right? Will you describe that accurately?
Yeah, and animal abusers, just fucked up people.
Right. Okay. So kind of like what I do, I guess. We're kind of in the same thing. Although you have a much more kind of style.
That's quite interesting take, Tom. You go into the Reddit hell and Kiwi Farm picker there. But who knows? He has a long, torturous past. Tom Thin of the Turkey.
Stylistic approach. You talked about it a little bit with Bosch. How would you explain that? It's like half fiction, half kind of a story.
I call it hybrid, like documentaries. It's like, it is half fiction that is parallel to the real story, and then there's just the real story.
Interesting. So the stylistic approach, I think that's probably.
Why didn't people call him out during this time? You're mixing fiction with reality. It's just freaking insane why no one's really calling him out here. They're just so ballsy, the approach. This is just such a mess here.
Probably really what's got you your audience, because I mean the stories themselves, exposing these people are good, but I think the stylistic stuff is really what people like. And you've been on YouTube for a while. It's been a few years, right?
It has.
I remember.
Yeah, and Turkey Tom is picked the perfect animal spirit for himself because he's rather much a turkey. So, call a turkey by any other name, I guess.
Remember back in the day, you've changed your content a bit. You used to make a lot of different videos.
Hentai reviews.
Hentai reviews, yeah. Well, okay,
That's up to the hentai reviews, man.
that was like what, a year or two ago. But before that, you were doing you did some game reviews, like a Halo video, I remember. And then you also used to do these videos that were like about like childhood struggles and shit like that.
Life sucks.
Yeah, you went on Hot Wet Soup back in the day.
Yes.
No fucking way.
I did. I was their first guest.
Oh my God, I didn't know that. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, he was buddies with all them. He goes all the way back, Nick. All the way back.
Where you found out that, or at least he claims that he can suck himself off. Hilarious as shit. Don't know if it's true. I'm willing to believe it because if anyone's willing to believe that Max can suck himself off, given who he is, I sort of believe it.
Zach, but you didn't even really make like a ton of commentary videos back then. It was mostly just like these, like, I don't know, story time videos, kind of.
Yeah, I watched all the commentary channels, but I didn't participate.
Yeah, that was.
So I'm wondering if he's sort of lying here, or if he doesn't consider the YouTube hell videos commentary style. Who knows there? There is a technical truth and metaphorical truth.
Interesting thing back then. A lot of people not making commentary videos make commentary videos. Well, anyway, most recently you've become known for making videos kind of, you say exposing YouTube, talking about predators. I guess this podcast is going to get demonetized anyway, so I'll just say pedophiles. You made a video called pedotube.com that I believe was really popular, and you kind of start these movements, right, on Twitter, on YouTube, to enact change. And the most recent one of that was a video you released 2 days ago. It's got 750,000 views about it since the video came out, and I think you have some issues with it, right?
Yeah, I have a bunch actually. I was wondering, like, so you're firmly in the position that YouTube needs to like make these changes, right? Like your message is really that middle portion of the video, the front and the end, as far as I'm able to tell, that those exist to like get the video viral, right?
For the most part, I'd say so.
Do you it's weird. So if your goal is to make like a message that can reflect back and like actually produce real change on YouTube, why would you go with such like an inflammatory hashtag? I don't know, for people who haven't seen it, which is like next to nobody. It's pick a side, YouTube, children or pedophiles.
Yeah, so I don't think my video is going to.
So, because he did it with YouTube hell. If you watched my previous video, he admits he tries to skirt the guidelines to the very minimum, maximum degree, exploiting the TOS, and obviously failing with it, which is constantly happening over and over again.
To fucking do anything. I want the people I call out in the video to do something, because they're the ones YouTube is going to listen to. They ain't going to listen to fucking me.
So you think your video is like the first in a domino effect?
I was thinking that exact thing. Yes.
No, you're thinking you're the puppet master of puppets.
The rapist that was in the video is currently in police custody. And
was that as a result of your video, or was that prior to the video?
Yes, it was because of the video.
Right.
The video was about IMVU and this one predator. I made it about him and him alone.
I remember you use a game, right? You played the game and you exposed this guy.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know how true all of this is. Okay, they're going back into the back lore, and I don't think he has proof of anything. But it's easy to make a claim, and maybe it's true. Maybe he's just helped get the ball rolling on that.
Do you mind walking me through the chain of events that led from your video to him being imprisoned?
Yeah, so I dropped the video. The end of the video is a call to action. Usually all my videos are a call to action, like find him, and we did.
So in this case, find him meant like you didn't know who he was. You wanted his doc so he could go to jail.
All we had was his face and his voice.
Right.
And out of that, I said find him, and then within 24 hours, we found him. And then I started social.
You got your child army just with a face and voice to go after someone. Did you even get the right person? The accusations or claims in this case don't mean a lot. They're not evidence of anything. And going off of very little, I would like to see, did he ever elaborate on that? Maybe I should check. Maybe the video where he lets people know about this with evidence is on his channel, not private it. Who knows?
Engineering all of his friends to give me his information, and they did. And then we pegged him. He fled to Mexico. We found where he was in Mexico.
Wow.
I don't know if the police. He was from Canada, so I don't know if the police asked him to.
That's
come
all
back.
terrible people are.
Mm-hmm. I don't know if the police asked him to come back, or he went on his own volition, or they forced him to come back. I don't know any of those details. I just know he went back to Canada and was in police custody for a certain amount of time. I don't know if they did anything yet, but I will be making an update video about him soon.
So he was arrested at some point. It's fair to say that. You know that.
I don't know if he was arrested or they just like interrogated him. Like, you know how police they don't have to arrest you to question you.
Right.
Because I don't know if his victims, he did have previous victims before my video. I don't know if they ever spoke to the police about it.
There's a lot of I don't know within all
I'm in the dark
this
so far, but
stuff.
we're gonna get back on that after we finish this shit with YouTube.
What? He just admitted that he's in the dark on this. He's just speculating, it sounds like.
So you did find out who he is. You did find out who he is, but you didn't put him in jail. Is that fair to say?
I don't know if we put him in jail. Is what I'm
Okay,
saying.
yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But yes,
Wow.
if we did find him, it did like end his life in a way. Like he got evicted from his residence. All of his friends know. His family knows. He was fired from his job.
Okay.
He no longer is an influencer. He was like a musician.
Right.
And all his shit got taken down.
All right. Well,
And for Christ's sakes, you sure you got the right person? Okay. Did you verify? I really just don't trust it with everything that's coming out.
that's really good. Glad to hear that. Honestly, you should probably be proud of yourself for that. I'm sure you are. So that happens. And then you post one particular video. It was that video, right? It was that video that had the ass in it from the game, right?
Yes.
You had this like black dude in the game or something turned around, you could see his fucking ass. And that was determined to be nudity, and that was why the video was removed. How long after it was posted?
It was about a week.
Okay, so a week after. Now I know a lot of people have said that your kind of complaint with this is dumb because you should have taken the nudity out. I would argue you probably should have known to take the nudity out, but at the same time, I guess you're right. There is inconsistency on the issue. YouTube will always be inconsistent. There's a lot of nude yoga, right? So I guess that's somewhat besides the point.
I literally didn't think it was that bad. It looked like a Sims character to me. Like, it's interesting. I don't know.
Or are they targeting you at all?
I don't know. I know that dark content tends to get targeted more often just because of the subject matter.
What do you mean?
Yeah, but victims, think of the children, the victims out here. You're allowed to skirt it. And it worked out for you before, I believe. Don't know the details of that, but you did make the contact with Elvis the Alien. Even pretty much admitted to yourself getting your audience to spam from love from MamaMax. I don't see how this is any different, but you're taking a different approach with your more darker, edgier side here instead of your more light loving side that you used to. That shtick, how far you could take it, or there's just so much speculation here. This sounds like the same thing, another tactic to just get this stuff out here. And all of this is based off of just having a video taken down based on it? Why not take the nudity out and re-upload? Is that a potential?
What do you mean by dark content? Do you mean like the acts, the voice, or do you mean like just pedophile stuff in general?
Pedophile stuff, like the subject matter, pedophiles, animal abuse.
I assume you mean like investigative content about like horror cows, you would call them on the internet,
Correct.
right?
Yes.
Like these fucking terrible freaks. Okay, all right.
Well, I don't know if that necessarily tracks though. I understand that like you
Yeah, it
probably
doesn't
have a
track.
few more issues when you're talking about smaller, more niche topics. But like when you're looking at creators, Onision, for example, somebody who was, I think for the most part last year, probably one of the more profitable topics to talk about in January. There wasn't much censorship done on Onision's behalf. The only censorship I could possibly think of was him having access to the Content ID tool, which would keep videos down for a short amount of time, but that's not directly real. I know Mudahar did his whole thing on Club Penguin, and he didn't have that issue.
So I guess my question about your video is, and I guess to kind of explain it a little bit for the audience.
Club Penguin's great example. Except for looking into it, I haven't done it myself, but some people have. The waters are murkier on that, and Nicholas DiGiorio is probably giving him too much credit on that behalf. He definitely did have a sort of influence on that, but ultimate guidelines, getting it taken down, no, Disney was doing that on its own. So I'm starting to think all these pedo hunters online are just LARPing, and if they have any particular impact, it's very little. I'm just not seeing any data to support that any of these people out there are doing any good. I wish they are doing good. I wish pedophiles would just be snapped out of existence.
For those who haven't seen it, you got a bunch of content creators together to talk about investigative content. How YouTube,
Yes, he
I
did.
think the wording used to me was doesn't give a shit about
Chris
us. Chris
Hansen went after the Onion Boy.
I guess my question is like, I liked your video kind of, but I think like what is your exact issue with YouTube? Like that seemed kind of nebulous to me. Like what would you pinpoint as your problem with YouTube? Like that you want to express with that video?
I mean, it was the same as everyone's problem. It was them taking down content from, like I said, darker channels. And I know this isn't just me. Like you can see the comments section of that video of people speaking up like, yes, YouTube takes down my videos all the time. And like, maybe it's because like we're a bit more edgy than like Chris Hansen, let's say.
But me and Tom are edgy too. I mean, Tom says the N-word all the time.
Okay, I don't do it in videos, but okay, I want to talk about this. Okay, so you say that they take down our videos all the time. Like for me, it was like basically I got a privacy complaint filed on the video, which YouTube, and they turned that into a harassment strike on my channel. I still have a warning on my channel to this day. But for other people, it was completely different. For you, it was you had like nudity in a video. So I guess the question is like you say pick a side, YouTube. Like how are they picking the pedophile side right now?
It's more so that
Vito actually did pick the pedophile side, and Tommy C let him slide as a joke. Bad mistake in retrospect. I mean, maybe fine, but MamaMax is, crosses a certain line.
They don't have protections in place for investigative content. Like if, like you said, yours was for privacy and harassment. My most recent one was for sex and nudity. My previous one was
down
for,
the rabbit hole. Of
violence.
Which one? There's a lot out there.
When I'm
Final
doing
Fantasy
my
House?
Hotline Miami scenes, like
right.
It's always something different, but it's always consistent. I feel like, at least.
Yes, consistent, because you consistently have to try to push that line because you think it gives your content an edge. Sort of using some AI to do AI generated CP is probably also a bad idea, which is the claim being made and seems rather solid.
So it's always something different. But what do you mean is consistent in what way? Like consistent and everyone has to deal with it?
Consistent to the effect that dark subject matter specifically is getting like the short end of the straw just because of the subject matter.
But is it like?
But like how? But before you get there, Tom, I just want to know like, so how does your video mend that in any capacity? Because obviously it would benefit from like a dialogue being open, right?
Exactly.
I don't think.
I mean, the issue is like my issue with it is you say pick a side, YouTube, but it's like, okay, if they pick your side, what are they supposed to do? Like, what protections would you say are fair? And what is that protecting? You know what I mean? Like there are entire channels. I mean, Rainbot, Nexpo, Gamer from Mars, off the top of my head. Like I said, Nick Crowley, Nexpo. I think it's a Nexpo already. All these people make livings off of YouTube, making thousands of dollars a month, making videos about these subjects. And every once in a while, they have a video removed. And I don't think it's because YouTube doesn't, protect our content. Like ads have been better than ever for me. And I think for most people on the platform, probably including, Nexpo and people like that. In terms of.
Oh, look at it. You got good morning. Hope you're getting your caffeine or whatever you get to get your bones jumping. Don't know how much of the MamaMax you are aware of, but it's definitely quite a rabbit hole. I thought I would look into this a little bit. At least the beginning part was worth looking into. Not quite your levels of diagram, but I am thinking about
of, you know, making videos
this
about dark
might be a
subjects. You can make a
better
video about
view of
pedophile,
this.
have it blow up. Nick Crowley, every other video is like YouTube's hidden predator or whatever. Those blow up. Like what? Where is YouTube really coming out of the woodworks to silence us and stop us?
I mean, I disagree with what you're saying. I even talked to Art before I even made the video.
What sort of argument is that saying? I disagree with you. Like, he asked a completely different question. I mean,
about dark subjects. You can make a video about a pedophile, have it blow up. Nick Crowley, every other video is like YouTube's hidden predator or whatever. Those blow up. Like what? Where is YouTube really coming out of the woodworks to silence us and stop
I mean,
us?
I disagree with what you're saying. I even talked to Art before I even made the video. He said, yeah, all of his videos are getting demonetized. I asked him to be.
yeah. He just completely deflects this. Where's YouTube is really coming for it.
In the video, and he was like, this might be a bit too hyper aggressive for me, but I wish you well. But I do get the sentiment. Like, all my videos are getting demonetized, age restricted. Like, we are slow.
And this is a common tactic. So he leaned on Mudahara last time when he was talking about the evidence he had against the black pedophilic vampire cult leader thing. So this has to be taken with a grain of salt. And he's not really leaning much on the evidence.
Being conditioned to make content less and less dark.
No. Long story short is, hey, he's done a lot of edgy content and he keeps on getting in trouble with YouTube for it. He's become a pedo hunter and using that as a spearhead. So he had this whole call out against content creators. It worked this time around. No one really called him out, but people were suspicious. And it's just coming to a head with MamaMax. People are just questioning the ethics. He got accused by 5 former girlfriends of being at least one girlfriend wannabe of abuse. So he did a response, and the boyfriend of that first girl he accused of a pedophile. Matter of fact, with some evidence that is really weak. And he's just been deflecting criticism with the pedo accusations all around. Okay, so yeah, he's a self-righteous guy who's trying to get everyone on his side, forcing them, like with Moist Critical, calling him out, almost attempt at people feel like it's a cancel attempt, and that blew up in his face when Moist reacted like, calm down, I didn't even see that. You don't need to do all this shit. So that started getting people to look more deeply into his claims about this pedophile thing and a lot of other things. How a lot of things happened with Illuminati. She accused Legal Eagle of plagiarizing her, and that blew up in her face once people started looking deeply into her. Same thing happened with Max. I mean, everyone wants to believe that don't want to go against a pedophile hunter, but he's been using that as a criticism shield for way too long and way too sort of prop himself up. It's just burning him in the ass. And I'm going over some of the sort of past content to really see the steps along the way.
And when I say dark, just less visceral in and raw of how much we are showing. Like my videos.
Yeah, I saw that. That's a very stomach churning fucking video.
Yeah. And yeah, it's just they're conditioning us to make less and less of that and be more, advertiser friendly, which we can get more into later if you want.
Sure. Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, I guess with that in mind, I was under the impression that there was like a big resurgence in fucking dark content.
Dude, it's weird because I heard like in the last month or so, I've seen so many people talking about how like this is the best time on YouTube, how all their videos are turning green, how much money's being made. Then I see Mudahar post a video and he's talking about how like it's worse this year than it's ever been before. It was better in 2020. I don't know where that comes from.
Have I just not been hit by it yet? Because like I'm running a second channel right now where I like will say fag every other video.
Oh my God.
So I'm fine. I guess I'm just kind of like, I guess on this issue we can just give it to you, right? Why not? Because ultimately,
yeah, you shouldn't have just conceded into that. Agree to disagree. They're just moving past this. That's
I
always
can't
a mistake.
make what my audience wants to see.
And you think that content is important for YouTube to see, right?
My audience thinks so, and
Yeah. How much your audience? It definitely seems like Max reacted badly to audience members who had problems with some of your content depicting sexual acts in an artistic way for shock value. So I don't know if this was where the turn started happening, but this is a bunch of bull. His audience wants to see it. I don't know what percentage of your audience wants to see it, but it's not your entire audience. And this guy just drops friends like flies, which I'll probably get into that. No one will probably want to follow me through that autistic chain of logic.
yes, I think so too.
Okay, you think it's important to make. So what is your prerogative? Like, what is your solution for YouTube? What do you want them to do?
Well, first we have to open a dialogue, right? And I know you said like my video isn't going to open a dialogue. I know that. I want to push these other guys to open a dialogue, like with Critical, for example. Like he mentioned me in his calling Susan Wojcicki video and talked about that point specifically. And I want more of that. I want these
accusations
big,
on
people to
and
talk to YouTube for us. Or
Dude, this is all right. This is so. Oh my god. Okay, I feel like you go to the nth degree in every possible situation.
oh
So it's
yes,
like,
absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah, you can definitely take advantage of that topic. People are going to be that eager to give you a benefit of the doubt when something as serious as that and that. Yeah, understand completely. It's definitely something that he got away with and definitely slandered or at least hurt the credibility of some people he thought he could get away with. And the process of how he went about it, everyone's sort of getting to the meat of the bone. I'm sort of seeing the evolution of what led him there. So he's already had a YouTube hell. He got some exposure from pretty much love bombing, I believe, content creators back in the past, and completely just pulling the wool, or maybe being in a very symbiotic relationship with other content creators, because the hot web soup thing, the amount of praise and love that he's just compliment after compliment, it feels like the love bombing technique you hear about. Okay, wouldn't quite call it gaslighting because he takes some and gives some, but it's always been extremely socially parasitic, in my opinion. Him with his Life Sucks series, him sort of trying to cozy up to those teenagers who feel depressed, lonely, suicidal, and makes them sort of empathize with them, make them feel heard, and let them know you're not the only one. I wanted to support that content back in the day, but just the parasitic nature and how he went about it just always rubbed me the wrong way. Then he did hentai reviews. So you have that audience through hentai reviews. Seems like a really weird twist. And no one ever questioned it. It seems, I don't want to say it seems like a grooming technique. You get lonely, depressed people, then you expose them to hentai. Just seems like a bad sort of thing. And what led him to his sort of pedo hunting arc, I don't even know. He never even, I'm trying to see if there's sort of a link of what sort of got here. Maybe he thought he could do his dark, edgy content much better in that area of expertise.
And maybe you'll take it as a compliment. It's just like, okay, my video went down. I know why it went down. I could re-upload it, or I can make a video fucking saying YouTube has to pick a side between pedophiles and children. And then it's like, okay, well, I know that's not going to have the impact that I want. So I could reach out to contacts that I made through last year's video, or I could upload a video saying they have to pick a side between pedophiles and children. It's just like, I just hate that. I hate that so much because I know it's not going to create a dialogue. So you wheeled in all these YouTubers who had all this different stuff to do.
Yeah, absolutely. Creates a sort of a us versus them dichotomy. And given the sort of weaponization of his fan base against any of his critics, which luckily has been dying down because of all the overwhelming criticism and sort of the questioning of really all of his facts, is actually sort of good to see. Almost wish I could have went through with this, but I didn't really pay too much attention. I had my own thing, so I feel need to sort of put this out here for the sake of posterity. I'm sure someone's going to do a rise and fall of MamaMax at some point.
To say Tom being more related to
Yeah.
privacy complaints. I think one guy was almost talking about copyright. Some people were talking about bots versus.
Yeah, it's interesting you bring that up, Kiddit. The person he accused off of being a pedophile just did not have the money. He has this whole thing. Why don't we just jump to that? It's actually a really good tangent. I'm not stuck with just doing this. Oh, tons of stuff. You should have saw the beginning. I embarrassed myself with my copycat. Back in the day, I did a parody of his Life Kinda Sucks Memories. So rewind if you want to see a part of that embarrassment. Ooh, it's way too many. Way too many. It's the Chud Logic one.
Here we have.
And that's the closest thing I can get to it. So this guy, his girlfriend was stalked. And you don't have just my beautiful voice to listen to. You have Chud Logic's crazy mad lad
This
energy.
is the man who saved my life, where he found me wrapping my belt around my neck at the stairwell where I was going to hang myself. My brothers in the army are the only reason why.
That these reports are then real. And
although I'm forever grateful to them. Do not let Haley and Anthony lie to you. They did not care. They filed police reports which do appear to be real, although I couldn't tell you.
Yes, MamaMax tried to commit suicide while he was in the army because he was feeling all so bad that his high school crush sort of used him and then moved on to a new man. He tried to make it up to her, pretty much became very stalkerish to a point where they had to file police reports. So the way he sort of copes with that is that, you know what? They didn't care that I almost killed myself. Well, of course not. You were very stalkerish, okay? He had this whole thing, which this is a re-upload of it because he took it down because probably would hurt his case.
You because I was never charged, I was never asked to appear in court, and I was never mailed any notice. I did.
So notice that he is essentially agreeing they're real, but he's obfuscating by claiming he was never arrested, never charged, etc., which is probably true. But that doesn't change the fact that these reports are then real, and it means that she did feel this way about it at the time.
He changed his name.
Her story
would make it a little bit harder to find him.
The police department of Denton on separate occasions to tell me to stop stalking Haley. Being that I was about 1,000 miles away in Fort Huachuca, Arizona, where I remained to be until the end of 2015, I don't see how that's possible.
I was far away, so it's irrelevant that I was stalking them when I got told to stop. Bro. Part of the stalking was you messaging and texting them, so it doesn't matter how far away you were. You could have been in fucking Timbuktu for all it matters.
But damn, go off, sis. And again, I do not know.
Did you hear that? That's where the meme came from.
I don't see how that's possible. But damn, go off, sis. And again, I
It
do
is.
not know how to find people. I'm done
It is.
listening to her. More than an entire third.
Only reason I'm following this is there's certain topics, and I've known about MamaMax for a while. He's an interesting case study to me. And how he sort of pulled the wool over everyone's eyes for so long. It makes perfect sense to me with the sort of love bombing he did in the beginning. He had a sort of downside, which I really should have actually set off red flags for a lot of people. And he went into the perfect business to sort of get the free pass to do whatever you want, pedo hunting. Not that I don't think legitimate people who do try to expose predators, but it tends to create this weird sort of power LARPing thing when you're not professional and you try to publicize it. At least that's my impression of it. Online, Chris Hansen even went off the rails.
Of my life has passed since this happened.
I love the way that, God, it is honestly so. When you think about it, of how shameless this guy has been. And then he goes on to call the new guy a pedo in this same video. It's disgusting. It's totally disgusting. But then, fortunately, MamaMax had some friends that came out to play defense for him. Well, I don't want to spoil it too much. Anyway, let me just tell you what I think the way you would speak about this, right? Because I don't believe in like canceling people. And I don't believe in like the court of
neither
public.
do I.
Talk about it, talking about the allegations after they came out.
And this is even worse here. Sort of just through networking. You give your network friend. And frankly, Max is great at networking, but when it comes to actually establishing friendships, you don't see it. He tried to sort of used Mudahar as seeing the evidence in his current case. And when push came to shove, Mudahar finally broke the silence, even though he supposedly signed an NDA. So, but he still broke that and was like, okay, I'll take it.
I actually just watched the Mama
This
Max
is the
video.
allegations response from really big YouTubers defending their really big YouTuber friend from these allegations.
That is such a fucked up. So what happened with MamaMax, for anybody in the audience wondering, MamaMax is a guy that hunts, for absolute friend of the show, personal friend.
Have we learned nothing from, well, this was before the Nick is not green thing. It's going to put your bias. You shouldn't really cover this stuff. Judd's even going to bring this up, and he's absolutely right here. Judd is probably way too right, in my opinion. It almost scares me how much I agree with Judd logic.
He hunts pedophiles. He hunts like bad people, really.
We'll come back to that later, by the way, because this isn't necessarily about Mutar. He's obviously playing into it here, but I hear this a lot about MamaMax, right? This is what I've always heard about the guy previously. Is, well, he hunts bad guys. He hunts predators. Okay, I hear that a lot, and we're gonna have a little. Hence the title of the stream. We will be having a little look into that and seeing what's what with that. Okay, we will be having a little dig around into that. I get it, right? I get it. Like, Mutahar's friends with this guy. I get that you don't want to talk about your friend being accused of stuff, but you don't get to do it in a way where you just sweep up the worst of what he's done. That's crazy. Just don't talk about it at all then and leave it alone. Because when you talk about it,
bearing the lead, you're bearing the lead, man.
I mean, it's just, I don't know. Like, it's really bad, isn't it? It's so crazy that this poor fucking woman came forward with this story with evidence, and he was replied with a really shitty response in which he admitted to a lot of the bad shit that he'd done, and people just go on to act like it's no big deal. Anyway,
yeah,
sick fucks on the internet.
But he framed it in a way that fooled people. Okay, as we're about to see from Mudahar, especially when you have a sort of a bias towards those people, whether or not what that bias is. Because Mudahar is absolutely sort of like, I'm not really friends, don't really know the guy too well. We hung out, but he's a little off. So this seems a little weird about the friendship here. And now Mudahar is saying, oh, we're not really friends. Social media friends, I guess. Mudahar definitely needs a little bit of criticism here. Well, he's getting some. Is he getting enough? Who knows? You got to give, if he corrects it and doesn't pull this sort of shit again, I guess maybe.
So he got canceled last week because apparently all of his exes came in unison and they fucking formed
5 of them. That's crazy. Oh my god.
They formed the Avengers threat against him, right? So
they did.
Now
there was they all had their Infinity Stone and they fucking completed the Power Glove and made a video on YouTube.
100%.
I don't even have a problem with people being friends with him if they want. That's their.
And look at the way they're framing this. The allegations. Look, yes, you take it with a grain of salt, but laughing at allegations of being pretty much being a rather insane boyfriend, and take that with a grain of salt. I'm not going to say you have to believe it, but you shouldn't laugh about such high stakes, especially when it's 5 ex-girlfriends. Well, technically one was just a crush. Maybe there were 6. I forget the exact details. I think they keep saying 5 girlfriends when it's really 4 girlfriends and the crush that he sort of stalked in the beginning. And after they came out, he accused the boyfriend who put out the video of being a pedo off of some of the lamest, flimsiest, very biased evidence, and still calling him a pedo.
Decision. I would never judge someone for choosing to be friends with someone, even if they've done something wrong. The problem is the sweeping. That's the issue with this.
Thanos got them all, fucking all that. It was insane. So these girls all get together, right? And they make 3 girls in one video jump in and they lambast him, right? So it went from he's a really shitty boyfriend to really shitty boyfriend early on, which anybody in their early 20s, I'll tell you right now, I was a pretty shitty guy. I would say,
look at those facial expressions from Judd. No wonder he's popping off. Great meme face.
Were you fucking wait? Were you reporting to the police for stalking a woman? Wait, what? Were you carving your someone's name into your arm and putting it on Facebook? Wow, it's crazy how much he gets.
Yeah, he was a teenager with the stalking, just forgive that. What about the second girlfriend where he lied about his age and when he was 20? Just that doesn't even get brought up in this. Nothing of details or substance gets brought up with it. It just gets dismissed, it seems like.
It's downplayed.
Relationships, I was young, obviously we all say things that are pretty dumb when we're in our early
serious
20s,
apologia here.
Not saying that that's okay, but it's to think that somebody after 6-7 years doesn't change as a person, pretty disingenuous.
Yeah.
But so like he gets canceled by the
Pretty disingenuous. They had a whole bunch of stories. I think one was like the last girlfriend, maybe a few months, maybe a year. Don't know exactly the timeline. But yeah, you start off with establishing a pattern of behavior of him. If he had a crazy obsession with this woman, then his next girlfriend, he pretty much flew out, was Australian. He flew this Australian to his house and pretty much had this girl live with his family for a while. His family, okay? Don't know what sort of career he was having. And then with the second actual girlfriend, he moved in with her and her family. You're establishing this stuff, and you can have credibility about these accusations, but wait, Mudahar is framing this. It's like he didn't even watch the video.
This one girl, the other one comes in and she throws in like a sexual assault allegation, doesn't really build upon it, which it becomes a he said, she said, like, to put it bluntly. And then the third girl comes in and she's like the most excited person to discuss her like trauma, which to me was like super wild. Anyways, all these girls come in, they
This is what I hate. It's the audio. They definitely did a bad job of framing it because they didn't actually say the context of it in the video. Basically, the first two, they got contacted by the first girlfriend, then the second girlfriend. I think it was the third girlfriend who actually prompted them getting together to make this video. So this was 4 women who had bad experiences. Okay. Pretty much in a row. And yeah, the second girlfriend almost seemed way too happy, but the framing of it that I understand is they got together in a Skype call or some sort of video call and they were talking about it. And the one girl was a little bit, way too happy. And it's definitely bad optics, but that's almost honest optics. Okay. It wasn't really framed correctly for YouTube. And these people are not really YouTubers. Even the YouTuber who did the video, he doesn't do drama related content. I forget what Magnetar does, but it's not drama related.
Bring up all these like.
And the thing is, as well, is recognizing the faults that you made and moving forward from them is how you change. Has MamaMax truly done that? I don't know. I'm willing to believe that he's not out here stalking women still, but
there's even more evidence.
There's newer allegations. Obviously, you can't really attest to. I agree that some of the girls' stories were a bit like off, and I didn't really agree with some of the way it was presented. Okay. However, again, there is the hypocrisy, because if MamaMax found out about the stories that were told about someone he hated, he'd fucking put that on blast. Do you see what I mean? He would be all over it like white on rice. And the fact that MamaMax himself has owned up to the worst of the allegations, and now they're going to sit here. Obviously, you probably can figure out by now. They're going to sit here and act like it's no big deal. It's wild to me, because you don't have to haul him over the coals. You don't have to cancel him. All you have to do is go, yeah, he did some real fucked up shit, and I was really fucking appalled by it or something, right? Or don't talk about it at all if you don't want to fucking get into it. But to downplay it like this is wild.
Yeah, absolutely. You're running cover and sort of giving credence to the narrative that this guy is a pedo, even if you don't directly say it. And luckily, I've heard Mudahara apologize to Magnetar or Anthony, because the dude did get doxxed. It's just madness.
And for me, I'm like, I typically do believe like anybody that's throwing out an allegation. Like I would believe like if you're out there to throw an allegation,
And look at all this framing Mudahar's given it.
Credibility. It's like, oh,
it really seems very.
The world's going to lambast you, right? Especially
you'd have to really be pushing it to just be making the whole thing up, right? Obviously,
exactly, right? Like that's what I'm going to think of. But at the same time, like obviously, wait for both sides, because clearly in a relationship, there's 2 sides to these scenarios.
Yeah.
So Max makes this video 2 days ago, and he fucking...
I heard Max's side, and he said I was a psychotic freak. He said I waited for both sides, and he said, I did put a thing on Facebook and be carving his name into my arm. Yes, I did send an apology.
Yeah, great timing, Chad. Great timing, because he's about to lead. I wonder if he scripts these things out. I don't think he does. I think he just has a genuine talent for finding. He pretty much knows. He's watched this probably before, probably many times.
For stalking and harassing her. Yes, I did do those things. And you act like that never happened.
Calls out like every single like allegation to be BS. Like he calls out all the irregularities, all the problems, all the faults.
This is shameless.
He brings up all the contradictions.
It really is.
Like lawyer masterclass.
I mean, that's what he does.
Text messages on a flip phone from like 5 years ago. Like
and unbiased opinion, like so I've known Max for years randomly. Like when I was first started to like make commentary videos in 2016, he was like in a small Skype.
Yeah, I'm surprised Chad didn't actually. This is actually Village Telling here.
I mean that's what he does.
Lawyer masterclass, so it's not very honest. He definitely frames his video in a very dishonest method. And even more dishonesty. Supposedly he had an edited section of the second he called the second girlfriend, the really happy, bubbly one, and got her to talk and clipped a lot of her conversation to make her look like she's the bad guy. And he linked like a half hour. I don't know if he linked it or if someone else did to the re-upload because he took the video down. I don't know why, but probably because of the potential lawsuits that could have been coming. Yeah, just so much of a mess here. And here.
Text messages on a flip phone from like 5 years ago. Like
and unbiased opinion, so
unbiased opinion. He's really Leon Lush is gonna claim this is an unbiased opinion, or maybe he misspoke there. Okay, let's give him some generosity.
I've known Max for years. Randomly, like when I was first started to make commentary videos in 2016, he was like in a small Skype community I was in.
It's fucking crazy.
4,000 subs or something. So I've known him forever. Back when he was doing like animations, kind of like pre-era of what he's really got into now. Always seemed like a super nice guy, but of course everyone has their demons. But I recently became aware of this like 3 days ago. I saw the video pop up initially from the girls that made this YouTube.
Yeah, you don't get into the nitty gritty. YouTube Hell, where he used lewd hentai within his sort of pseudo commentary style edits, which I can't even really depict right now. Then he sort of went to the Life Sucks series where he sort of suckered a whole bunch of people in with some, I really understand, with some edgy content, with some violent nature. He really hasn't changed that much. He just has these sort of cycles and sort of adapts to the system and sort of knows the right people, gets in with the right people, which Leon is completely just verifying here. He's one of those commentary bros. You get in with the people who actually talk about the sort of problems within drama YouTube commentary. You get in with them and you get to run a lot of cover. You build up those contacts and networks. This is just very telling. And really, he must have misspoke when he said unbiased opinion, because he wouldn't be that literally stupid to actually think that this is unbiased. Because
video, and then I watched another video from Max, which was actually like a month or two old, where it looked like he was getting ahead of it, but he was doing an interview with another smaller commentary YouTuber. Okay, and I watched that, and I didn't watch the whole video.
Oh, I actually think I remember that. I think what Leon's saying, yeah, he knew about these allegations supposedly coming out and sort of tried to get ahead of it. I don't remember what made of that. They really just sort of, I don't know if I want to call it astroturfing or something completely different, but just outright insanity that he knew it's coming. And this could have been in the era. Someone brought up this is sort of the Me Too era, I guess. Maybe not. Maybe, I don't know, the Amber Heard, where the Me Too movement was coming to it, and that schizo theory, it might have some merit. It comes from Queeman, someone Chud often cites, but wild child of YouTube.
Video from the girls, but the gist of what I got was like, Max is mean. He was mean to me.
That's what we're boiling it down to. Max was mean to me. Is that all we're going to say about that? Max was mean to me.
Yeah, maybe it's fine to have an opinion on certain matters. Okay, but you should, content creators of their size should be aware of the weight that they hold over the general YouTube audience, considering they're the ones to actually enforce. I don't know how Nux, but I don't even know how Mudahar got that reputation, or Leon Lush, but they do also have connections. And it's just extremely odd. Look at this. He saw Craig Beckett's video. Ola. Okay. That's sort of interesting, that comment down there. Well, this is Chud's.
Max reported to the police for uploading a fucking video of him cutting a name into his arm on Facebook. It's fucking nuts. This is the craziest shit I've ever fucking heard, an allegation. And the thing is, I didn't know, because I remember when it happened, he released this response, and I thought this response, I covered it, and I said that I'm pretty sure I pointed out some of the, the shit in it. I can't recall exactly.
Yeah, I think that's the main point, Kenneth. Their audience is primed to actually take their side. And they should really actually not be framing it this way, in my personal opinion. They should, as Chud said, just not talk about it. You're compromised. You're associated with this person. You're going to have a positive, and even if it's someone smaller. But there's a certain mindset and commentary about the Chud clout chasing. You're just trying to chase clout. Again, this guy, Magnetar, who did this video, not his normal content. I'm not going to switch over. His last video, 6 days ago, sci-fi creepypasta, sci-fi military story, government conspiracy, sci-fi military story. He does not do drama content at all. He does some live streams where he plays video games, or I thought he did. But yeah, this is not someone who would benefit. It would only hurt him. And they have these stories, but he had the biggest platform out of all these people. I think that's why it was decided to do on his channel. And maybe none of the commentary people would take it up. Maybe he tried to take it up. Let me not get into speculation.
Seems like a total fucking freak. And then nothing really happened, and that was it. And I can see why now. It's because a bunch of people were acting like nothing happened when stuff did happen. Oh my god, man, it's nuts.
And then one of the girls, his main girlfriend, her biggest gripe was that he was 18 and I was, or like we started talking when I was 17.
Yeah, and he said he was 18.
Like that was her, that was like her, that was her case. And then like he waited till I was 18 until we started dating. I don't know. I was like, what?
Yeah, that was her.
Yeah,
And then it came out
you're
that
like
she-
17, almost 18, and I guess said he was 18, but was really 20 at the time or something. But I'm like, you basically able.
Yes, she showed that he was dishonest in the relationship from the start. What sort of apology is going to come out of this? Just dismissal? I'm wondering.
Teenagers.
It's
Seems
interesting.
Why did he? Okay, but then the thing is about that. Why lie? Why lie about your age then? Like, I agree, 17 and 20 is no big deal, but like, why would you lie about it then? You would just be honest about your age. You don't think it's a big deal. I mean, again, the problem with that woman's claim, she was the Australian one. If you want to go and watching it,
Yeah, I'm not talking about it. I'm supposed to be a good move because even speaking about it with caveats, declaring your bias could still have a bad impact. Yeah. Okay, absolutely. You're as you said before, priming your audience to at least doubt. And do they even say go in with an uncritical mind?
is there wasn't really enough meat on the bone of the allegation.
No,
to demonstrate anything, in my opinion. So it was a bit flimsy. And I think that by having the other two women included in that one video, I think it means that it's easy to pick holes apart in kind of what's going on. And I think if Magnetar was to come to me in the past and say, how should I do it? Knowing what I know now, I'd say, well, just do Haley's story. Like, focus on that because that's the strongest one with all the evidence in. And if the other people want to tell a story, they can. But you need to make this.
No, I think, yeah, Haley's story is the strongest, but the first girlfriend's also very strong. It's the two other ones that are a little uncredible.
It's the fucking bolted on. This is the fucking situation. These are the allegations. Boom, boom, boom. You know.
But someone like Magnetar does creepypasta doesn't think about the optics.
Fallacy. There's a contradiction, and anytime you make an allegation and you're the one that contradictions keep coming out, that's a problem. Now, before Max made his video, this
yeah, but this is a problem I have with a lot of these optic-minded people. They don't consider the source of this. What sort of oversights? They're not giving them the benefit of the doubt. They're not reaching out to them. They're just basing it off these videos. Now, if you want to, as Chud said, they just shouldn't have talked about this in general. If they wanted to talk about it, hell, Keemstar is better at this in general, and Keemstar is notoriously horrible for making mistakes, like calling that one old guy a pedo. But he did try to apologize later, and just getting into drama, saying things like this. Like, I don't even want people to believe me entirely. The evidence, it's all out there. Proof speaks for itself.
one video from the girls got taken down for a privacy complaint. It was made out like Max was trying to suppress his stuff. And to me, it already came across as disingenuous from the guy's side because they failed to account for the fact that they leaked out his driver's license, which is.
Yeah. And did you reach out to him to sort of see why he made that mistake? I don't know why people respect Mudahar, that ordinary gamer, because he exposed Club Penguin pedophiles or something like that. At least he claims, or Nick Dorio claims for him, should I say.
It's not something you want to be doing, right?
Like, also, they're like focusing on, like, they're poking holes to discredit the accusers, even though that's like, yeah, it's a bad form. But I don't think that the intent was ever to, you know, to dox him or something. I think what happened was they included his unredacted name on a driver's license, right? and then they re-uploaded it and redacted everything except his first name, Max, which everyone obviously knows already.
Not a good look.
Taken down by YouTube.
Absolutely, that's a privacy guideline. It's going to get taken down because if you have any ounce of something, like if you show somebody's driver's license, you're doxing their
I'll
address,
agree.
where their family could be living, anything. So,
And I'm hoping that it shifts with such. I really hope that shifts with people like Mudahar and a lot of these big content creators take more responsibility for their weight of their words. I'm not going to try to cancel them, but definitely worth criticizing, holding their feet to the fire. Okay. I hate the term do better, but yeah, Mudahar wants respect, be respected, have a voice within the community like he wants. He should do better, or else he'll lose that position. Nothing wrong with saying that. He can still be a cool guy who has cool conversations, but to be a leader takes responsibility, and definitely seems like a lot of people lean on a lot of these people as almost leader figures within communities.
I'm not
Judge
sure on that,
just a man
but I'm
willing
fairly certain
to
it wasn't the full driver's license. I believe it was just their full name.
go
and then they just redacted the last
balls
name,
to the
alongside all
wall
the other stuff
and
they'd already redacted,
do the stuff.
including the address.
So even if you find
Having a
the
good track
scummiest person
record.
on the internet, you know, like the scummiest dude, like even if it's like a legit piece of shit, you still shouldn't be like doxing out information. That's a clear
Oh, don't pay attention to that guy there. A base life.
violation of the terms of services. So
That's a
fucked up
different
there.
A base
Now,
life,
it turns
just
out
to
that
let
the guy
you
who
know.
orchestrated the video
Might be a pedophile,
possibly
right?
might be a pedophile. Yeah.
Isn't this like shameful? The way they're sweeping so hard for this guy to the point where they're validating his obfuscating claim that the guy that came out with it is a pedophile. It's fucking shocking. Listen, I don't like fake allegations or embellished allegations. I criticize them heavily all the time, constantly when I see them. Okay, but you don't get to use that fucking energy to obfuscate from claims that are actually legitimate in this way. It's disgusting.
We sent out
Where does it end? Where does the cycle end?
like
And
Max showed
apparently,
like
was this a White House interning with Obama or something? Like there was this whole weird arc in there.
Yeah. Yeah, like it was so weird because
And using comedy bits. It's fine sometimes to use comedy in certain things with certain sort of pieces, but this is not where you sort of throw a joke in. It just makes you look like a insensitive jackass who's just like writing them off sight unseen. This is not gonna bode well, both optically and what they're saying.
when I watched the Max video, like when I got to the end, and I had it running like on
definitely
the TV behind me, I was
a
working on
base
something here,
life
and, like it got to the point where I was at the end of the video, I looked around,
impersonator.
6 out of 5,
He
and
doesn't
he mentioned just a guy making a video. I'm like,
hang
oh,
out
fuck,
and
what happened
judge
with this guy? And he
server
says he's a pedophile, and I'm like, I just stop right there. I'm
or
like,
anything like that.
Yeah, no evidence for that, by the way. Just someone's testimony, and then Max's sister saying it's true.
Yeah, that was it. No, it's not even. Yeah, the sister said it's true, and it was the sister's friend who brought the supposedly the DM dick pic, which Max sort of based his whole claim that this guy is a pedophile because his sister's friend claimed there's a DM. Didn't even show the evidence. Couldn't even show it to people. I mean, yeah, you might not want to show a dick pic on a YouTube video, but
I mean, like, look, is it unreasonable to say that even if, like, look, if someone's your friend and you don't want to get into the allegations, that's fine. I get that, right? I totally understand. But then you should just recuse yourself from the conversation because you've got a conflict of interest, okay? Right? But, you know, they're presenting this and like they're completely whitewashing it. They're totally fucking whitewashing what happened.
Yeah.
So it's like the worst possible thing you could do, isn't it? Is to just whitewash what it's to talk about it as a friend, which you probably shouldn't because you probably are going to be biased. But then to whitewash it as well.
She's a good showman. Max. He makes good content. You gotta hand it to him. Oh, God.
Hold on. Rewind that 30 seconds. Wait, what?
And then he showed a clip of his sister saying that the guy that's making the.
Listen, if I had someone that was a friend that did something crazy like this, I might not like cut the friendship off because I don't think you should necessarily cut a friendship off just because someone's done something real bad. I think they might still need your support as a friend. But I wouldn't like be like, oh no, it's no big deal. Nothing to see here, guys. Someone just said it's like the Naked Gun scene, isn't it? Big fucking fireworks going off in the background.
Yeah, and again, it comes out Mudahar says he's not even that close to the guy, to Nicholas DeYorio. Yeah.
Nothing to see here. Nothing going on. People coming out with black faces, choking from the smoke and shit.
Organized the video with sending like dick pics to 15-year-olds and stuff.
Yeah, me and my girlfriend were following the whole thing like crazy because it was like, me and my girlfriend were like, we know Max, so it's like,
Yeah, you know Max. You're going to be biased on it. But how well do you know
Max?
Max?
Away by the bombshell. We're like, what the fuck? Like, how can this? It's like you got to imagine, like, if you're the guy running these things and you have a possible history.
I mean, to be honest, looking at it from his
Great
perspective, Max is this guy who obviously has a chip on his shoulder and hates this dude, right? And he's making videos about catching pedophiles. He's just scared.
For Christ's sakes, Nuka, shut up. You got your start on hentai also. Of course, you would be hentai brothers with MamaMax with your edgy humor, then becoming this big figure. And supposedly he got his avatar, I hear, this is the rumor, he stole his avatar originally from just a fan artist, and didn't really credit them. Could be wrong. Just a rumor out there. Still. And of course, my shitty internet, or just
one of the videos will be about him. So he's trying to defend Max first. That was the impression.
They've even taken it further and saying the only reason the guys did it was because they were scared Max would make a video
shit.
about him. That was the point. How God? It's obtuse. It's total being obtuse. Yes, that's the whole point, isn't it? You fucking retard. He did that so retards like you would say those types of things.
Is he the dude that helped orchestrate the video between the girls? Is that the
the
idea?
that's the group chat and he organized the video.
Orchestrate the video. Let me tell you what happened. This Magnetar guy, right? This Magnetar guy, his girlfriend, he was there for it. He witnessed some of this stuff. He didn't orchestrate it in that way. He witnessed it and was like, this is crazy. And then other people came forward and they started to put a video together. Now, I've got criticisms of the way that they handled it, certainly. I don't think that the video was perfect. But to create this idea that this was an orchestrated effort or something is totally disingenuous. And it serves only to undermine the point made in the video of the allegations.
Which is really
Imagine
stunning.
that.
Oh my
Imagine that.
Yeah.
The projection. It's oh my God, that's so
Well,
fucking.
this guy was tagging. So I remember the day it happened. He was immediately tagging me. He was tagging Charlie, and he was tagging Nexpo the whole time.
Even I got
And,
tagged. There was this Google Drive
yeah.
thing. I got tagged, and
Yeah, like we just kept getting tagged, and then because he kept tagging, like I had a bunch of like DMs like, how do you support a fucking abuser? And I'm like,
oh my
bitch,
God.
it ain't even fucking confirmed yet. What do you want me to do?
Literally, yeah. It's
And now you've looked at it, you just completely run defense with the guy. Like,
Yeah, go the complete opposite way. And was it even
listen,
him
no wonder
who did
fucking-
it?
No wonder nothing fucking happened because everyone was like, yeah, it's no big deal. I don't know. The problem is, I don't even want something to happen. I don't believe in this court public opinion shit. It's very stupid. But
Yeah.
you've got to at least talk about it accurately.
What? Someone uploaded a G drive with some screenshots? Okay, bro.
Like the
what?
Yeah.
Like a fucking abuser, and I'm like,
oh my God.
bitch, it ain't even fucking confirmed yet. What do you want me to do?
Literally, yeah. It's
Okay.
what? Someone uploaded a G drive with some screenshots? Okay.
Okay, remember.
No, there was a message where he copped to a lot of the stuff, which he said was true. He admitted to some of the psychotic shit, and there were contemporaneous police reports that Haley filed claiming he was harassing her.
Yeah,
Like,
look at the
honestly,
evidence
I
if you
can't
want to
fucking take
speak
it, man.
about it
Like,
with
the
any
most
sort of
I said, I'm like,
authority
listen, if Max
or
actually did something wrong,
expertise.
I'm open to hearing the other sides. Like even if you're my
Yeah.
friend, I'll still listen to the other side. Like that's just fucking that's what
Yeah.
we do.
Yeah. Completely another crap.
I don't know.
Yeah,
Just
I
don't
don't
talk
even
about
know.
it. Like, leave it at that.
And here's the latest one. Might as well jump into it. Quick ad, ad break, people. Get your popcorn, drink. Okay. Go along with
Good,
this.
brother. How's it going?
Dude, it's just honestly like
And-
it's super frustrating. I think the first thing I want to talk to you about is like you've spoken to him on several occasions, right? Not just the one live stream. I think you
Okay.
mentioned you spoke to him
Pay
privately.
attention
Yeah,
here.
the thing that I was referring to yesterday with him was like me and Nux had a conversation with him about the situation behind the scenes.
And you guys have
So
met
this-
and stuff. You guys shared a house at VidCon, right? Like you guys were friends or are friends.
Yeah, I mean we shared a place at VidCon. We're friends. Yeah, I would say for now.
Yeah, they're friends. Remember this.
And of all the people who are talking about him, would you say that you're probably one of the people who knows him better than like myself, Chud Logic?
I mean, I know more than you guys, but honestly, at this point, I don't really know how much I know the guy. Just because we don't like outside of the stuff here on YouTube, we don't really do a lot of heart to hearts, right? We, if I have to say, like the more the people out of that group that have the most heart to hearts is probably like Nexpo, Nick, because he's really close by. But me and Max, like
And how is he your friend? That's what I'm asking. What's your standard for friend? Just a YouTube friend, a collaborator, someone useful to you that you can tout around? I know this guy. He's my friend. This is what it seems like here. And of course, Nick is playing his coy. He's not going to wrestle Mutahar here about this sort of bullshit.
it's there. I try to. Sometimes, we don't talk for a while, but when
Well,
it
yeah,
comes
he'll
to
disappear
situations
periodically
like
for a
this,
few months when he's working on a project. That's not abnormal, right? I'm assuming that's the same interaction that you have with him, where he'll just kind of go off the wall for a couple months and not be.
yeah, he's gone for he'll go for a while.
See, Nick is definitely just giving him room to sort of distance himself from this. Okay. Probably smart optically. Why should Nick have to do it? Why can't Mutahar, especially after the whole completionist nonsense and him being sort of labeled as sort of, a threat of a suicide? So he released the call with the completionist, Gerard. Okay. I mean, I hope he's thinking about all this. And
I guess was it a
learning.
little concerning to you
Does
when you saw
better.
that he was like live and doing a live stream after the stuff that you guys spoke about last time? Was that a little confusing, a little jarring to say the least?
I was not the biggest fan of it. I jumped into that live stream and it's to say that I was a little livid when he said that I saw the evidence and he kind of used that to corroborate the quality of
Exactly.
his evidence that he's put behind an NDA was pissing me off.
Do you think
I've
that he
never
used your
ever.
name specifically because, well, if Mutahar's seen it, then they'll take me more seriously, or is that putting too much?
I think that was an element of it, yeah. Because I feel like people know me a little bit as a guy that like anytime I do work with like Coffee or Carl or anybody of these guys, right? Like I'll always say like anytime I collaborate, I think it's always the other party and not me that gets like that takes the gloves off first,
Yeah.
Because I always really play something super carefully. Like I'll never say somebody is a like scammer or like a pedophile.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, sure.
pedophile or something. Unless I have
think
something that
Dick
I
is
know
going to actually bring it
100%
up.
important,
Please
And
carefully.
that's why, like, I know that I can get away with saying a lot of things, but I just don't bother doing it because, like, in the chance that I do get threatened with legal work or something, I can always just laugh it off. Like, I never add that stress to the pie.
Hard to suspend disbelief on is this is a cult leader pedophile allegedly, right? That uses social media to groom children, who also has no online footprint.
Well, yeah, I mean, like,
Yeah,
and that's what
really weird.
A discussion about the subject and saying like, well, Mudahar, I wish we'd spoken about this months earlier, so you could advise me on what best to do. Now, I don't think that you disagree with me when I say that he's probably out of his depth.
He
here.
did talk to
admits that he's
Mudahar
never done a case of this size,
about
this
it.
magnitude,
There's
right?
a
He's
clip
working
from
with these
one
people
of the
who've been in court.
streams.
He's never done anything like this before. So when people say that he's like a clout chaser, I don't understand what Anthony Fantano would have done to help him. I don't understand what Joe Rogan would have done to help him. I could see what maybe you could have advised him on privately, but most of the
Yeah, most of this stuff seems like he was just trying to weaponize sort of his calls, his pedo hunting, to call on the biggest content creators, to raise his profile, give him even more connections when he's already connected to so many people in the commentary community. Mudahar isn't even technically commentary community. Leon Lush, not that I followed him for many years. They bring up
victims. I'm like, I
this.
can't go and call somebody a cult leader,
There's a lot of
a
fluff
pedophile,
here.
or a human trafficker unless I see some hard hitting evidence. You know,
Yeah,
like
100%.
Even with people like Andrew Tate, and I always get into this thing when I talk about it. It's like
Yeah.
I am more comfortable talking about Andrew Tate in that way because I've looked at a bunch of fucking court documents that show really fucked up behavior. I haven't seen shit from this guy. You know, I haven't seen anything. All I know is
But the shit that you actually saw from MamaMax to sort of counter the accusations, that apparently was enough, or have you matured? Yeah. I mean, I would probably find a better way. He's talking about the allegations, cult leader, vampires, black vampire, werewolf god, crazy case. It's just, yeah, take him to court. See him there. Yeah.
And the thing about
have
it
a
is, like,
good
they don't wanna
day.
take him to court because apparently he doesn't have any assets. So it's like, what the fuck are we doing at this point? It's like, why don't we?
Thanks for
like, I know we have to
dropping
go to
by.
Georgian police or something, and I guess get them to file, like, all these girls to file in person. When I'm pretty sure a lawyer can file on your behalf. You can just pay somebody to do it.
I know more about Camden's family than I know about Camden through this investigation.
Yeah, they're talking about the case.
I did a 4.5-hour live stream where I watched 3 YouTube videos and got a summary from an interview.
Listen.
And of course, it's fun to not have YouTube Red and try to work things out. Plus, I'm looking through all this stuff. I'm trying to get to the Magnetar stuff here. Okay. Because the Magnetar stuff is something I don't think I even covered. And since we went over the sort of allegations, I want to go over this. So this beautiful beam footage here, and that probably screwed me up in going through this. Clout transactions, woo, going through that. Yeah, thank you very much. Have a good day at your work, Aiden. Hope you have a good night also. Yep, all this beautiful beam footage, Discord call. I mean, there's a lot to go through.
Of how this is so poorly handled by Max
Yeah.
in this situation where, like, it's not Lyric's fault. It's his fault for, like, leaking.
Well, he
Look,
wouldn't know, yeah.
I've told Max this. I'm like, look, at the end of the day, I think when Max was telling Lyrics that, I really do think it was like, this stream made me look like an idiot last night. Please remove it because I don't want people to fucking view this. I really
Yeah,
did feel
bad
like it
look.
was, like,
Yeah, because it was at 2:30 in the morning, right after he got bombed. He ended off the stream being like, "See you never, guys."
Well, even with, like, Lyrics, it's
And
like, Lyrics
threaten
should never
him.
even have to remove that kind of stuff ever. It's like, you didn't. If we're going by the idea of full names aren't PII, then Lyrics
Here.
had no legal reason to
Well,
remove
he's saying,
that,
man,
you
it's
know?
not doxing. It would just be like,
Yeah.
but he's willing to try to flag it and roll that dice, I guess.
Yeah, that was horrible. Sort of
so this
threatened.
is where, like, the bridge
It's
is
just showing
kind of
his
on that-
mask, I think.
Much for answering. I have one more question, and you can tell me if you want to answer it or not. But I have a very angry chatter right now who's asking about it. Are you familiar with Magnetar?
Who's Magnetar?
Magnetar is the guy that Max is claiming is a pedophile.
Yep, and you code signed on.
Now, apparently on Pedo 2 or something. That's what he said today to me on stream. I guess, do you kind of have reservations
Do I
with
know
stuff?
that guy on a different name by any chance? Is there
Anthony
another-
Fields, that was his full name. I believe that was
Was
spoken
that the
on.
guy in the Believe All Accusation shit?
That was the guy who made the video
Yep.
with the girls.
Okay.
I guess
I don't remember exactly calling him that. I feel like I should, but if I did, I definitely owe Magnetar an apology. Like, unless there's a fucking,
Yeah.
100%
Thank you.
thing. Yeah, if I did, I 100% apologize. I don't co-sign on anything like that. I don't.
You did co-sign on it.
Magnetar
but-
said he can get us a clip if you're interested.
Yeah, I mean, sure. Send me a clip.
Yeah, we don't need a clip. It's all I wanted from
I don't know,
this.
he's asking a shitload of content creators to help him out, and then you help him out. And now it seems like you're so wrapped up in this thing, and like your word on the
Yeah.
allegations or law, you have to go correct that right now or something.
Yeah, I mean, like the only thing I just want to finally correct off is like what I said to the Magnetar guy. Like, I guess
Oh.
if I said something out.
Magnetar, have you sent me anything? Well, let me just
Yeah.
make sure because I want to get that done for you. I haven't gotten
Okay.
anything from Magnetar. Does anyone have the Magnetar clip that we could pull up, or does anyone know what stream it was from? Because I can.
Definitively
Coolman has
calling
it?
you something.
Oh, Queeman has it. Coolman.
Queeman.
Either Chud or Lyrics recently watched it too.
Yeah.
Anybody with a timestamp, because I don't want to keep him here too long, but I do think
A lot of people covered it.
Look at Queeman. Did Queeman send it? Oh, is he here? Is Queeman in chat?
Probably.
No, I don't think Queeman.
Oh, okay. Yeah, he's a night owl like me, but he's probably in his sleepy sleep.
The only
He's a
reason you probably
good
call him
British
Mama
boy.
is if, like, he's still living
I
there or
think
something,
he's got
but
the
I don't know,
accent.
dude. Nobody knows the whereabouts of this guy, so.
Wait, Queeman is in chat. He's awake.
When he talks about back, he's
Can you
talking
send
about
me the link,
cigarettes.
or
He's
send me the link
British,
to the stream
remember?
where you show the clip?
They can say that
The last
because
thing
they're
you've been
talking about
streaming was
cigarettes.
last month, so I
Fresh
don't-
logs from Destiny.
See. Sent to the Smaggle, the genius normie who is like defending girls on YouTube would be knowledgeable enough on deep internet lore to even end up
Wait,
on that
he's
site.
claiming that he's claiming Anthony Magnitar is the one running the Kiwi Farms.
Yeah, and that
Yeah,
seems to be really
there's a
accepted.
lot of
It's really
wild
shut
claims
down.
out
Okay,
there,
so I'm gonna
and
say right now,
everyone's
this is-
covering
and
this.
I'm not doing
So
this because it's like I'm
took a
trying to
break
pay back and react
to
what,
sort
like,
of
you're making
explain
it.
some of the
Actually, it's
details.
possible- Let me explain why
Get
this
into
is
the
very
deep
hard to
lore of
assume anybody
this.
could be running a fucking thread. You don't have any proof.
Okay,
You have no idea what the post came from. You have no idea.
absolutely. I'm glad this
It could be
happened.
anyone. It could be you, Nick. It could be me. It could
Back to half baked.
Or I could upload a video saying they have to pick a
Nick
side between
with
pedophiles
Mama
and children.
Max.
It's
Well, I
just
did
like
both.
I just hate that. I hate that so much because I know it's not going to create a dialogue. So you wheeled in all these YouTubers who had all this different stuff to say. Tom being more related to privacy complaints. I think one guy was almost talking about copyright. Some people were talking about bots versus user reviews. These are all legitimate concerns, and they're just surrounded by YouTube loves pedophiles. YouTube. I don't think use the word complicit, but use the word apologist. It's just
So I guess
leaves such
that's
a
part of
bad
my-
fucking taste in my mouth. And it's not that like you could say it's like part of the act, or you could say it's like part of the gimmick, but it feels like just shitty journalism. And I don't think that's cool. I know you talked to Vosh recently, and one of the
Yeah, great. Vosh, best a source of information. And you didn't ever press him on the mixture between fiction and fact in the very beginning. That still is bugging me.
do that when you're basically implying that YouTube is either run by pedophiles, infiltrated by pedophiles, protecting pedophiles. I think you could read it any one of those
No,
ways.
I want to disagree with you a little bit there, Nick, because before I had completely seen the
This is
video,
gonna be
and for
funny.
context, I watched the entire thing in full today for the first time. I hadn't seen it yesterday. I was under the impression that in the video, Max said YouTube supports pedophiles, YouTube protects pedophiles. Coming away from it now, I feel like maybe it implied that, but I don't feel as strongly that he was trying to like push a mouthy Buddha thing, and I don't see it as like a mouthy Buddha conspiracy video. I also don't see it as like a Matt Watson video.
If you're going to say that YouTube is like a pedophile apologist, that, allegedly
Yeah, why are you arguing over it? Ask Max, okay?
a pedophile apologist, and then say the pedophiles that YouTube love the other. Like, dude, if you're saying YouTube loves pedophiles, that's basically there, dude. We can argue implication versus like action, but I mean, if you read the hashtags, that's what it says to me. The one that goes viral, the one that more people see than the actual video.
That is a thing. I will say, Matt, people are taking away from your video right now is that YouTube supports pedophiles, and they're also taking away the idea that like, I'm not saying this is necessarily your fault. You can't control your audience, but a lot of people who are fans of you are saying like, you know, to content creators, why haven't you spoken up about this? Why won't you pick a side? Are you a pedophile? And so it's kind of like, you know, you kind of started this hate mob that I feel like doesn't completely even know what it's doing.
Of what y'all said?
Yeah,
there's a lot.
Sure.
Okay, so
we did talk a lot. Sorry. Well, in the future after this,
Yeah.
we'll talk a little less.
Okay, so Nick, you first said it won't open a dialogue, right?
I don't think it'll open a meaningful dialogue. I think it'll open a dialogue across Twitter. I don't think any YouTube employee is going to be like, all right, guys, we have to pick fucking children. We're fucked over here. Because I know last year's one didn't. So like the what was it? Answer Us PedoTube thing. Obviously that didn't work because you made the same video a year later.
Oh, well, okay. It did work for the time. It got me an answer, which is what I wanted. Like I wanted that video specifically. I wanted to know why my video was taken down. And they gave me an answer. They opened a dialogue with me. I'm in their DMs. And it made these other YouTubers like Critical talk to Susan Wojcicki about it. And we can go into if she lied or not with when she said she's going to start improving everything.
So why do the same exact thing again and again? If it doesn't help, use a different tactic. This is a sort of adage. Doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result is sort of the definition of insanity. Yeah, it's sort of overplayed, but it definitely is a good sort of a sense of the room of the mood.
Later, but
and from your own mouth though, you did say that even aged poorly. So I mean, the dialogue happened, but there wasn't.
Oh yeah, I said it aged poorly because that's what she said, and so we all assumed, great, yeah, YouTube's going to be better now, and that's what he was saying in the video. Like both, what was theirs? Answer Us YouTube, Markiplier and Charlie. Like, okay, great, things are going to get better. They didn't, so that's why there's the thing about me calling Susan Wojcicki a liar because she said all these things like the thing that Markiplier presented, like self-moderating, like where we can just cut out the video in the editor and then leave it up. That was genius, and she said it was genius. Why hasn't she implemented it yet? Just asking. Okay, your second point is. Oh, did y'all want to say anything about that? I'm sorry.
No. I mean, I guess my only response with that would be like, I don't know, YouTube bureaucracy can take a long time. Maybe they explored it as an option and it didn't seem that realistic.
I mean, dude, they literally said the what was that feature?
Yeah, they definitely talked too much in this. Definitely a mistake. Letting him sort of give response.
Rolled out yet? I don't know if a year is.
I mean, that's kind of unrelated, but I guess that's a good.
Well, I'm just saying YouTube doesn't necessarily roll out their features.
Okay. Well, so what you wanted, Max, was an opportunity. What did Markiplier suggest exactly? An opportunity to trim content when what happened?
Well, okay, so let's say your video gets reported, right? YouTube, instead of just removing the video outright.
Wait, reported for what? For
anything.
Okay.
In his case, it would be like nudity, so he'd have the opportunity to go and remove it.
No, if I could fucking just trim out that 2-second butt scene, I would be more than happy. Like, I would have fucking started the hashtag in the first place. My problem is them taking down videos
They definitely have the tools for it now. Maybe they didn't back then. Maybe you did do a change. Okay, is it a great change? What's wrong with taking down, re-editing, and putting it back up? You know, rather
I mean,
make
it's
a
like
fuss.
I mean, it's like just because people like your video, like, you know, I'm not saying
You don't even make money. You're not monetized. You admit yourself. You make your money through Patreon. Is this when the Patreon sort of happened? Patreon push? You gave up on that?
your videos are like this, but let's say 100,000, right? Like,
Okay.
what does that mean?
All right, I don't, dude. I'm just saying, like, you seem like this seems like a total rational thing. You couldn't present the video in like this manner where you just explain what the problem is instead of drumming up a whole narrative.
We can get to that. I wanted to get to y'all's other points.
Sure, let's do that.
Okay, Nick, you said it leaves a bad taste in your mouth, right?
Yes.
And that's because of like the bombastic nature of it, right?
Mhm.
I mean, that was the point of it. It was to fuel the fire, I guess. I know the support so far has been almost unanimous, except for, you know, the few vocal minority. I don't even know if it's a few. Y'all might,
hipster.
Y'all might, yeah. I mean, y'all might be like all over the place. I have no idea.
Yeah.
But it did exactly what I wanted it to do. Like, I don't think any shit was going to happen unless I made it that way. And, you know, maybe I was wrong. Maybe I could.
Yeah, and what happened to Tommy? What did you do to Tommy because he criticized you? You brought up the fact he talked to people like Mr. Girl, Vito, called him a pedo defender, your ultimate shield against all this shit. It's just, he found the perfect racket to pull this edgy shit, and anyone who criticizes him goes against the narrative, gets labeled as you're trying to hurt the children, you're protecting pedophiles. And that's the false dichotomy he's sort of making here. You can make all these messages without making choose a side, children or pedophiles. That's just such a false dichotomy when the reality of the world is just so much more complex in there. I wish the world was black and white. But if the world was black and white, we wouldn't even have these problems. There wouldn't even be pedophiles in the world. Okay? That would be solved. It's not that fucking simple.
Could have gone a more professional approach, but that's not even me. Like, someone else should make that video. I am very hyper aggressive.
Yeah, pushing the buck. You are hyper aggressive, just like that's who you are now. You were hyper lovey dovey in the previous era. It got you a lot of friends, but I guess there was a certain limit to it, a certain cap that it put on you. Or maybe you just couldn't suppress the sort of edginess that's always been within it. Can't have that niceness while reviewing hentai.
Aggressive. I am
hyper aggressive is one thing, but again, like, do you deny that is the spread of misinformation?
I don't think it's spreading misinformation because
what misinformation specifically was spread, Nick?
I would just say, can you support, like, give supporting evidence as to why YouTube loves pedophiles?
Well, I don't say they love pedophiles.
You say word for word.
No, I say intentionally or not, you punish those of us who create content in response to injustice, such as pedophiles.
I can read I have like a direct quote.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
It's
the
one at the end of the video.
The let die the pedophiles you love or suffer the little children.
Yeah, I believe it's a Spider-Man line.
Yeah, that's a Spider-Man line. It gets the movement going. It's like
it gets the movement going, but you're
but he's absolutely sort of hinting at it, implying, implicit or non-implicit. You're creating this.
You're walking up to the door.
It's going to be the same thing.
I don't know how much you speak.
He's going to sort of walk back or somehow frame it in a certain way, and sort of push ahead with that.
This video, like 8 to 10 minutes in the beginning.
The issue is
and
when you say something like that,
literally
like,
just outright say the pedophiles that you love. So, like, yeah, you can add your allegedly. You can talk around it as much as you want, but you literally said that YouTube loves pedophiles in their video. So, like, I get bombastic nature, but to me, it just sounds like misinformation. Like, that's just what it sounds.
Well, I mean,
the issue with that also is like this has caused people in your audience to go out and be like, "Hey, YouTuber, why are you supporting MamaMax? Oh, you must be a pedophile." Like, you know, when you have such a distinct message, it's very hard for some audience members to maybe parse that out. And I'm not saying you're necessarily responsible for them, but maybe do you think you could have worded that better, or maybe like that specific line didn't need to be in there?
I don't think you could word it better because that's the point of the video.
Well, I felt like after watching a 30-minute video about the actual issue, putting that one line at the end for, you know, it's like, let's go get them sort of thing. It like builds the hype, I guess.
Builds the hype.
But that's kind of the takeaway, you know? I guess the thing is when you make a video saying like YouTube has protected pedophiles, which really they haven't. I'm sorry, like YouTube is not
definitely have not
protected
pedophiles.
YouTube's taken a few videos in large catalogs of videos from creators, and you know some of those have resulted in videos about pedophiles being taken down. Does YouTube protect pedophiles?
There's just a lot of shit out there. Okay. I just wanted to establish he sort of distanced himself from the commentary. I mean, yeah, technically not the commentary. Yeah, got into actually more relevant stuff. Let's take a quick look at his hentai review, the only one still in the archive.
Shirt, I guess.
Doesn't really matter.
I don't really know them, but they seem nice. That's what I was going through.
So,
Bored and got on Steam and saw a visual novel that was recommended to me and started playing it and met this character within the game. And every moment with her were all these tiny attacks on the wall of "I don't care about you" that surrounds us all from the people we don't know. And then a few hours later, with thousands of words of dialogue between us, that wall raised into rubble. I started to care about her. I started to care about this 2D sprite on my computer screen that I originally made fun of for having purple hair on a game that looked hilarious to me to even play. And I cared about her because she had a personality. She had secrets and nuances. She had a face and a body. She had a voice. It was in my head, but it was there. She had feelings and would react to things I did and said. She was real. She somehow found a way through all the supposedly intelligent neurons in my brain that are meant to distinguish my reality from me. And then occasionally I would wonder, why is there a dialogue box popping up in my field of vision? Why is there music playing in the background? Why are my responses predetermined phrases of dialogue that aren't necessarily what I would...
I'm sure this is YouTube friendly or it would have been taken off. Let's hope so.
What?
Typical style. Bringing in his audience with he pulled along with a lot of his life sucks.
Rewrite the dialogue and the outcome of the events, just retconning the actual game itself, just to save her. Because I cared that much about her. I was in luck though. She had a good ending. But I wish she didn't, because no one should waste their time on that shitty fucking sucky ending that has almost none of the emotion as this bad one. However, there is also a true ending. One where you actually figure out what the fuck is happening. The execution of it may not be the best, and you have to deal with an annoying cat girl, but it might just be enough to save this girl. And so I embarked on that path, finishing the game around 10 different times so I could unlock the ending I was looking for. And when a game does that to you, to where you care about a character so much that you find yourself starving for more of the game just so you can continue the story with them, that's something special. The storytelling wasn't the best, the gameplay was non-existent, the art style was inconsistent, but the characters were far beyond the ordinary standard. When you're a visual novel and semi-dating simulator, you've achieved an extraordinary accomplishment by making someone feel like they have a girlfriend.
No wonder like Simpleton called this at least there's nothing explicitly graphic about this video. Here's also an interesting video.
Do bullets, knives, and other sharp objects go through your soft skin a bit too easily? Have you tried levitating yourself and/or objects around you and fail every time? Are you a pathetic piece of shit that can hardly even hold the weight of your own body for a few minutes before you have to sit down and lazily waste your entire life away?
I'm Max.
Is this line? He became one.
I don't know about you guys.
2 years
I wanted
ago.
to be a superhero since I was a tiny
This dude's
bitch boy.
funny.
Even now,
He
as a grown
became
man,
one.
I still want to be a superhero, even after sadly realizing how impossibly stupid of a goal that is.
Yep.
Why do I have to be a gay-ass human being made of soft skin? Like, seriously, dude, a car can just run into me at 20 miles an hour and I'd probably break every bone in my body, if not die. That's fucking gay.
Not
I'm
if you're
sitting in
careful.
my chair and watching some Dragon Ball Z or Thor Ragnarok and seeing all these other human beings being godlike violence incarnate, crushing monsters and saving innocent lives from pain and suffering. I want to do that. Why can't I do that? Hey, genetics, give me some superpowers. Stop being weak and soft. Hey, eyes, let me shoot lasers out of you. Hey, hands, let me create a spirit bomb out of you. Hey, skin cells, make yourself impenetrable to damage so you can properly protect me, okay? Why aren't you guys listening to me? I'm the brain. I'm the one who should dictate how this body works. Stop disobeying me. You guys feel me? I just want to do that, like when I was a kid. And even as I am an adult, every once in a while, I try to focus on an object. And hopefully one of these days, I'll telekinetically move it with my mind. Like I swear.
God, let's take a look at some of his Expo stuff. His cross collab with his sort of edgy humor.
I recently made a documentary exposing child predators in a pedo ring currently on the internet. Actual reports to the FBI and NCMEC have been made because of it, which can be provided upon request. Predators flagged the video and got removed, and my appeal was denied. All personal information was hidden or censored. Names and identities were altered to protect the privacy of non-consenting parties. All dramatization in the visuals and
The content was removed due to violations of our community guidelines. Okay, let's see. I found a pedophile on a kid's website. Was removed because it violates our harassment, threats, and cyberbully policy. Channel 1 strike. Blah, blah, blah. Content unavailable. Okay. 1 strike. You're
I
out.
recently made a documentary exposing child.
And he sort of had the certain same sort of attitude when he was doing YouTube Hell and got 1 strike, even though he admits he was trying to insert things, censored hentai within his YouTube Hell videos. And was just trying to get away with it. He reacts really badly. Can't actually deal with strikes. That's sort of plays into my idea of the narcissistic personality. You know, talk about it, see if you can make it, but wonder how long until he sort of went to his friend to sort of his much bigger friend to help him with this video.
Predators in a pedo ring currently on the internet. Actual reports to the FBI and NCMEC have been made because of it, which can be provided upon request. Predators flagged the video and got removed, and my appeal was denied. All personal information was hidden or censored. Names and identities were altered to protect the privacy of non-consenting parties. All dramatization in the visuals and dialogue are fictional and meant for storytelling purposes. Please reinstate the video at Team YouTube.
So this video by Nipso starts off with that. Age restricted. Interest in how YouTube think exposing pedophiles is worse than pedophilia. One of the most upvoted sentiment. Yeah, the comment isn't actually throughout and throughout. There is somewhat of a conversation. Oh, ouch. It's even worse. Massively upvoted. Okay. Don't even have the video because it was down. This website needs to be shut down.
Reporting his findings to authorities. Behavior that
So,
late spring nights.
The rest of this is a lot of Netspo
who
doing
silenced
this
him and shut
himself.
that video down?
One of
Was it the
Max's
Predator?
friends. But has he really come out about this? All of his current friends that he had last round, I guess it was 3 years ago. Who's his current friends? Why has he lost these friends? Because of his constant attempts for attention? They don't seem like very good friends that I have not heard a peep out of any of these people. So, yeah. Go through this. Don't even want to really go through this. Not a lot of Max in here. I think he sort of takes over.
It's written in many places that users older than 19 are not allowed.
I think he just takes over the research for him. Let's see what this at the end is.
Your website is not even good. You have a lot of work to do, and there will be a lot of eyes on you. Predators are on your platform. What will you do to handle it?
Okay. Good question.
I've reported my findings to the NCMEC and the FBI, and if you ever find vile behavior like this anywhere online, I implore you to do the same. MamaMax's
Yeah.
content is a fantastic watch. He's out there fighting the good fights, and with enough vigilant eyes looking out around the internet, we can all fight the good fight too.
Okay, fine.
But I understand that I'm not allowed to show the faces of convicted predators that have evidence against them. And I understand I'm not allowed to use fake blood, a prop brain, or fictional violence to express myself creatively. And I understand that even though I'm a human being, I'm not allowed to express any subjectivity, emotion, or opinion when I make a video about the kind of people who are exploiting, manipulating, kidnapping, selling children. Because at first I thought I should just save objectivity when I contacted the FBI, where I have an audience to entertain and educate should be anything more than me reading a police report in monotone and calling it a day. So at that, I just want to say,
They're not saying that. They believed it was bullying and harassment from your own thing. It got reported, got reviewed, and they agreed. Okay. Leafy knew his days were done. And why are you even bringing him up? Leafy was gone. He's on Rumble. I don't even know if he's there anymore. What's with these examples? You should have learned from this past already. You're bringing up movies, violence, things that people know, who sort of use stupid little rules to freaking, yeah. The 18, you're using this as you can't be, is there any reason why you can't actually use emotion? It's about the bullying and harassment. And people reported it. Obviously, someone at YouTube thought it met the criteria for it. And you're trying to do this emotional appeal towards this end. I meant, it just seems like a deflection to me. And this thing here. How to create a call, another collab.
Gods.
I don't know exactly how much the part he had in this.
Midway down, they included in a game by our
Very
essentialist-
creepy posterish.
and quit. Secrets.
Back.
Mixing.
Where Kanye Quest, this unfiction mystery, the various websites,
There's actually
and Calypso,
something?
really some wild tools put in place for this ascensionism cult, or was this simply something that was riding on their backs?
Oh, this
Throughout
actually
this
had no
investigation,
value.
We've seen a name, Nick Lyons, but who is he?
Yep, here's MamaMax video. See it, get a little
On the
sample
25th
from
of
this.
April 2013, a developer on RPGmaker.net uploaded
Not
this
taken
children's
down,
game to
so
the website.
obviously it didn't.
The creator, going by the alias of Phoenix, tucked away a secret path that remained unbeknownst to players for several years. a secret path that, after being found within the game, would lead players into giving away their actual names and home
excellent
addresses,
edited.
which ultimately led into what some people have alleged. Articles by Rolling Stone, Vice, and retailers. These the player would then listen carefully to the relationships. Once you've entered all the passwords into the corresponding term, or anything of the sort. But it appears as if my version of the game is not utilizing any network connection. Ergo, it isn't going anywhere. This might be due to the fact that my version of Command Quest 3030 doesn't originate from the official website,
footage here.
as that one is now blocked by password protection.
Yeah.
Or maybe it's the fact that
I don't know. I
Maker
choose to
VXA
show
games
some of the stuff.
don't inherently support online capabilities. The same engine.
I'm just wondering where all his friends are. That's what I really want to get into. The sort of friendship, sort of string. Where are all these friends? Mudahar is a friend, but he doesn't know him very well. I find that very, very funny. Okay. Are they really friends or just business work relationships here? And let me see. There's another people went over the sort of pick a side. Let's see how his friend Mudahar. Is this his current friend? Okay.
Back in 2019, will face a lot more review by my perspective, okay? This kind of content, because of how YouTube's shifting to a much more family-friendly, much more corporate-friendly environment, making content like that, unfortunately, will lead you to not only be demonetized, which is probably not even that important, at least in my opinion, but what really scares me is the age restrictions and the potential for having channel strikes attributed because of darker content you may cover. If you ever look at content that I make covering this kind of dark stuff, I censor a lot of stuff. I put blurs up the ass. I am very liberally applying blurs all over the screen, simply because I don't want to get a channel strike for covering this kind of content. I like covering this content, but if I cover this content and I don't cover every single basis, I face a chance. Yellow, Dole, and everyone, they should do it across the board, regardless of channel size, regardless of how much traction or whatever the. In fact, I edit features such as transcripting, which allows YouTube to get sort of a play-by-play of what each word is being spoken in a video. So in this transcript, I believe, from at least what I am speculating right now,
I could
YouTube
get
will
the
look through this
transcript,
find a bunch of trigger words, or find a bunch of strings that maybe are not exactly aligned with a creator-friendly video, or sorry, an advertiser-friendly video.
Yeah.
No information, or YouTube will issue. However, very recently, it started to actually get a age restriction.
Yep.
So YouTube demonetized the video, which of course they did. I mean, I literally said to it and said, possibly the harassment is stressful kind of content to cover to help stop an actual criminal action or to stop, an actual negative cat killer right now. This is by far the one video that almost made me quit YouTube. Not necessarily because of the content within it. Obviously, I've seen far worse, but because of the stress that I had to go through around the time period this video came. Music video.
Stress and breasts.
These types. And even in my case, I have a hard time really pinpointing what time code would really go against YouTube systems. Again, it's just a bad situation all around. And even if you have the best of intentions, if you don't follow the TOS 100,000%, you yourself can be on the chopping block instead of those who, in my opinion, deserve it a lot more, especially on this platform and really any platform.
No, I guess the thing is when you make a video saying like YouTube has protected pedophiles, which really they haven't. I'm sorry, like YouTube is not protecting pedophiles.
Okay, there's another part of
YouTube's
this.
taken a few videos in large catalogs of videos from creators, and some of those have resulted in videos about pedophiles being taken down. Does YouTube protect pedophiles? Would you say that? Like you said that in the video.
Beautiful stuff, beautiful bean footage. Might as well at least try to make my point in a concise manner as I can, and I'm failing so far. But give me a break, guys.
Video saying like YouTube has protected pedophiles.
I'm trying to get a transcript
because
I'm trying to get to a certain point.
Have not protected pedophiles.
YouTube's taken a few videos in large catalogs of videos from creators, and some of those have resulted in videos about pedophiles being taken down. Does YouTube protect pedophiles? Would you say that? Like you said in the video, I wouldn't say that. I haven't seen evidence within your video that YouTube protects pedophiles, or frankly that by proxy anything that you did it for outrage and maybe it will generate that.
Yeah, get past this.
There were some of those.
They protect pedophiles.
But not only do I think like tying them to this hashtag kind of dulls their cause a bit. It's going to make in the short.
And creators and investigative journalists are going to.
You sounded like in that segment you were calling Dirt Bubbles a pedophile because of the context in the video.
They're making a statement basically shitting on YouTube. Art told me you'd be down for that.
Case. I don't know what Tom was told. I'd actually prefer to ask him in front of you.
Actually,
I know a lot of the people, again, like Tom Stanger, had different issues on that video than you did. I mean, not only do I think like tying them to this hashtag kind of dulls their cause a bit. It's going to make in the short term, dude, tons of people are going to be talking about it. But like in the long term, do these YouTubers know what they signed up for?
Are you asking me?
Yeah, kind of. Because like in Tom's case, I don't know what Tom was told. I'd actually prefer to ask him in front.
He actually said, MamaMax said these YouTubers knew what they were signing up for when you did the call out to get them to sort of come around your calls. Correct? Let's see how this plays out.
Yeah, so I can actually say this now. If you don't mind, Max, I was not told that this video had anything to do with I could have predicted because I know who you are, I guess, a little bit. But, you know, I was told a lot of smaller, dark content creators and investigative journalists are getting fucked by YouTube for, in quotes, harassment. And a lot of us are making a statement basically shitting on YouTube. Art told me you'd be down for that, being Gamer from Mars. All you have to do is give a 10 to 30 second take on how you feel about YouTube. Now, it doesn't give a shit about any of us. My investigative content is important and something needs to be done. That's something you're up for. And I did it, but I feel like now, like, maybe...
Dude, you sounded like in that segment you were calling Dirt Bubbles a pedophile because of the context in the video.
But the thing is, I wasn't, and he's
Dude,
not.
you picked a weirdo to talk about in the video, and then everything else is about pedophiles. It sounded like...
Well, that's my issue with it. I had a few people on Twitter being like...
Yeah, Max twisted the framing of the segment he got from Tom. Now see the justification.
Is this guy a pedo or something? It's like, no, he's not. He's just a freak and he has something wrong with him. So I guess the issue is like everything's being kind of lumped in there, and that's not...
That might have been mine. I assumed everyone knew what I was doing because I did this last time. I did Answers Pedo too.
Assumed. That's always the word. I swear to God, people just assuming and moving past that is really starting to annoy me with almost everything. Okay, maybe I'm being a little bit too focused, and most of the time, the assumption's perfectly fine. But when it comes to some serious, more accusations and even other issues, that assumption, basing a lot of your belief off of certain assumptions, is bad. And he's perfectly fine with just playing this sort of game here and sort of twisting this shit up and just being bald right out. Be like, yeah, I just assumed people knew everything about my content because, you know, everyone loves my content. Been told that for years. Not totally bullshit, just to butter him up. Other side of content creation, some people are probably going to butter you up to make you feel better. But, you know, just assume that people are telling the truth. They probably are.
Everyone knows I'm the pedo hunter guy. I assumed everyone knew what the message was.
And like I said, I'm not mad at you. Maybe I should have read into it more. Admittedly, I didn't think about it that much, and I probably should have. But I guess my issue with it in retrospect is like, I feel like all of us were kind of thrown in there when we all have like vastly different. Like one guy talked about like copyright, like that's not even on the table.
If you feel like a lot of people knew, then why would you put a disclaimer in that like?
That was so if they were friends with Corpse wouldn't get mad at them. Or, you know,
so that's the next thing we should talk about.
Let's go for it. I'm down.
So I got some people asking me questions about that. In particular, this one from Bo Blacks. He tweeted this recently. He said, please have Max elaborate on him calling out Corpse to say something. He seemed really out of pocket in the video. And I admit, when I watched that, like, you know, I saw you like...
Yeah, just to laugh it off, man. That's what he does. You know, just laugh it off. It's a joke. That pedo hunting is totally not serious. Just laugh it off, man.
Like, John Scarce. And I was like, all right, I guess this makes sense. And then you were like, Corpse. We used to be friends and you were an asshole to me. And it's like, okay, Corpse was an asshole to you. And it's like, I guess I was talking to Tro about it. And the conclusion we kind of came to is you were just, I guess, you know, breaking every egg you had to kind of get this movement started. Is that what you did? You thought maybe you could just pressure him?
Oh, yeah. I felt like I hand selected those people very particularly. Some of it was emotional. Some of it was, I do literally think this person will enhance the message or reach out to YouTube on behalf.
I mean, seriously, why aren't people realizing what a freaking manipulative asshole he is? He's pretty much just putting it out there. But, you know, people are going to give him the best of faith for, you know, because of all his connections, because of the cause. Some props to freaking Nick here. He's a little bit wishy-washy all the time, but he sometimes comes through when it comes to a pinch. When some stupid stuff comes down and his sort of bias is out to wash. And his laziness really catches up and annoys the hell out of me with him.
Of us, like that's why I had Chris Hansen, because, you know, he's a professional in the business. So yeah,
okay.
So yeah, it was all handpicked.
But like, I guess my question is like, what do you think maybe that compromises your message at all to not only have like the very like Batman presentation around it, which I love.
It sounded like you blackmailed Corpse husband.
I mean, yeah. Like, was that like?
Yeah, he just laughs it off. Yeah, blackmail. Such levels of manipulation just being thrown out there off of and deflecting when asking for evidence, even back then. How long ago was this? 2 years ago. Okay, a little over 2 years ago. It took this long to really hold his feet to the fire.
I don't know. Was that necessary? Do you think that was right? I guess.
Was it necessary? No, it wasn't fucking necessary. I didn't need to do any of that. Did it help? You fucking bet it did. It made people fucking angry. And I mean, that was the point of the video. I just want...
But angry at Corpse husband?
No. Angry. We're sick of this shit. Angry that we are dealing with YouTube, you know.
Yeah, just totally shift. You completely admit to sort of blackmailing, but then shift the narrative to, yeah, pedophiles. Okay. Corpse, yeah, unfortunate casualty to sort of raise the stakes, get people after that pedophiles. Why should we fucking believe you when you're clearly just admitting that you're manipulating people to go with your narrative here? Just go along. You laugh about it, laugh it off, then go into this big pedophile hunting speech.
No.
How did the corpse husband thing make it about YouTube? Because you're saying that like you've wronged me on a personal level. I saw a lot of tweets
Nick
going like,
keeps trying
this
to
looked
get
fucking
into
bad.
this.
It looked like it was directed directly at corpse.
He keeps trying to nail him down.
Because he can help us. And
Yeah, I understand that, but like your personal grievance aside, I understand he asked you to take down a video at a very inopportune time, and then like kind of ghosted you. But
it's a bit more than that. He and I have a long history, but that was what I was willing to share.
I
guess it's like, how was that relevant?
Just like sort of relevant about Charlie, a history. Okay, Charlie just came out and be like, okay, I was sick. I didn't see the Discord. You try to come after me because I forgot about it. Fuck off.
Like,
oh, I did him a favor. It's like exactly what I said. I did him a favor. He can do me a favor.
Dude, I guess when I pictured how this conversation was going to go, I thought you were going to say like, I'm here because I want to do X, Y, and Z. And then you're going to talk, you're going to give kind of a bit more. It's just like what I get from this whole, if I kind of give a big summary, is that like you knew this thing wasn't going to create the dialogue. It was just out there to just cause a bunch of shit.
The domino effect.
Yeah. You used it to try to reach bigger YouTubers.
What about friendship, loyalty? Okay, you have to pressure these people. Okay, they're not under your control. And does that make you pissed off? Are you gonna let them take the heat? Do you even care about getting these pedophiles? You're not collecting the evidence. Most of the time, you just use your fiction, what the make-believe headcanon you have in your case. This is what it seems like to me. Could be incorrect, but from all the facts out there, he just uses his headcanon, and sometimes maybe he'll be right. And he'll at least come to some information to catch it, even if he has the wrong person. Justify ends the means. It's really what it sounds like. And if you can get sort of a vindictive against someone who sort of didn't listen to you, this is extremely manipulative behavior. I'm going to go crazy with saying that word all over the place. It's the same thing with sort of how he sort of with his girlfriends and the accusations. That seems to be the case. No direct sort of thing, but slight subtle manipulation to sort of deflect from actual issues.
Pedophile stuff was a means to an end that you're going to include it because it'll get people angry. And, and your presentation and listing off all the YouTubers, regardless of whether it seemed like it belongs there.
Oh yeah, I mean, well, I predicted that. Like everyone's saying, be careful. Like, don't let your channel get terminated. I'm like, I don't even.
That really is the grand test of time, because if there is like a conspiracy, as someone I was talking to previously kind of put it, or if they are trying to like hurt our content creators in some capacity, I mean, your video is the one to go, right? Maybe we reflect on this a year from now, and this video fucked you.
I mean, we'll see. Like, I want to see some progress, specifically with YouTube and us.
If a third video goes down, are you going to make a third one of these?
Oh my god, I feel like by that time I'm already sick of it. I didn't even want to do this one. I hate doing this. I hate.
Yeah, you hate doing it, but you did it again. Okay. Yeah. Maybe you felt he had no choice. You didn't even have that great of a case. Your case was just fucking out there. And the things you did and the fan pushback. Okay. Watch shit. Want to know about his history? How the fan response? MamaMax 1, Impleton. You can get all your sources there. 2 hours long. He has some follow-ups. I'm probably not up to date.
I'm actually sick of making videos about pedos.
Because I'll tell you one thing: if you make a third one and none of these ones went down, it's gonna be a hard sell, dude. I'm just saying, third time's not the charm.
First of all, to you, Tom, I do not get sick of covering pedophiles. That's what I have fun doing. I would rather be in my hole hunting pedophiles. That's what brings me life. I hate when I have to do this shit.
Yeah, you shifting it. Originally, it was trying to beat the system by injecting hentai into your YouTube health videos. Then you switched the sort of someone called it incel content. I would say it more taking advantage of depressed, lonely teenagers and adolescents to sort of create a sort of cult following. That's what I find funny. He just went mask off and went with some sort of outright bold god cult, become a cult to fight the cult, or some sort of double speak Orwellian sort of logic. I just think he pressed his luck way too much. I don't even know the pressures. Maybe it was internal. There was pressures against him. Corpse husband probably sort of soured him on the sort of Nexpo and all that sort of shit. Like, you're willing to do that to another one of these people? No. Okay. So he leaned on Mudahara for a lot of the current stuff with his backing. Mudahara just be like, yeah, we're friends, but I don't really know the guy very well. Maybe shouldn't just keep on bringing that back up, but still something worth taking into consideration here.
And start stupid ass drama just to make people give a shit. You know, because when you, especially when you're so fucking pissed off, like you have to hear the screams of children being raped to death.
Yeah, you're going to use the emotional appeals to sort of circumvent the sort of logical processes that you really want to get into. The ends justify the means. No, it does not. A lot of things that you've tried to do, MamaMax, definitely does not justify the means. Is it really you not even really going with the core? Is YouTube not trying to do anything? I think they try to do a lot, but it's just hard to contend with. And there is going to be casualties, and you are the canary in the coal mine. You want to be the martyr who loses that. So I sort of think you intentionally do this, given your history onto this particular subject matter. You want to be the martyr. You want to be the canary in the coal mine. It's just
death, and you have to witness puppies being skinned alive, trying to hobble away. Like
you want to be the
so
hero.
Goddamn easy. Like I don't give a
sit there who work for YouTube who have to review like.
And you pick the easiest thing to be the hero in. Easiest thing is let your artistic passions out, your sort of anger at people in general. Supposedly his brother beat him a lot, and with the girlfriends, the sort of a subtle sort of manipulation. Either went to their home or moved them into your home. You couldn't just get an apartment together. You didn't have the money to do that. Maybe you didn't. Maybe you did. But seems a little bit weird to me to bring. You have a sort of team. I'm wondering what his family's like. As I said, I've seen some interesting stuff that sort of supports that he has an abusive home life from what I remember and what I've actually looked back into. Not going to say that for sure. Not going to present the evidence. Not really what that's here for.
They don't call them pedophiles.
No, yeah, I don't. Even
I guess my thing with it is it feels like a non sequitur. You know, most of the people in your video didn't talk about pedophiles, didn't have anything to say about pedophiles. A few of them had issues with it, but like none of the videos were taken down because they talked about pedophiles.
Dude, it's just,
one tweet I have.
It's just an over dramatized video with a good message that has a bunch of people who, some of which didn't know what they were in for.
I have this tweet from this person named Nani, which is I think a takeaway some people have from the video, and she says, "Remember when?"
I really have a problem with people just sort of bringing people in to sort of go with your narrative. Seems to be a common theme, and you don't actually prove it, or you use very skimped sort of evidence to sort of support this. And I hope some people learn from this freaking lesson. And just because someone has a narcissistic personality disorder doesn't mean that make them a bad person, which it almost seems like Max suffers from. There is ways you can mitigate that, but trying to play the hero, the pedo hunter, is not the position that someone with his particular issues, obviously. And I'm not even going to say it's that particular issue. It just, he checks that sort of checkbox a lot. But I don't want to play that. There's definitely problems with him, no matter if he has a mental disorder or not, or anything like that.
It's the bad standard to set, like for life in general.
You like hunt pedophiles? You can't think that. Holy shit, dude! Oh fuck! I'm just saying, like,
well, I guess like
a lot of people said this, so it must be true. You like that's not a. I mean, I wouldn't expect you of all people.
No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying it's worth looking into, not that it's true, and that we shouldn't be. It's impossible. Like,
Okay,
that's
yeah,
close-minded.
I can look that.
Okay, yeah, I'm not.
I can look that.
So you think we should explore the possibility that YouTube is run by pedophiles or supports pedophiles?
Absolutely.
Videos about pedophiles?
Yes, I do.
I feel like you need a bit more than like here are some videos that were taken down, especially when like.
Yeah, he has no evidence. He goes off of feelings, and he just whatever outlet it seems like to sort of go, and he uses his audience as a lot of other people sort of support it with that. His weaponized audience. Weaponizing audience is something. Yeah, you can't control your audience, but if you have a call to action, you're sort of directing them in that direction. There is so much ethical concerns with a lot of what Max is saying, and I think you don't even need to do the sort of moral sort of superiority thing. Just have a certain code of ethics that everyone can get beyond. It doesn't need, you don't need to be religious or spiritual or anything, just to have a basic groundwork for a code of ethics. And let me not get into some of the sort of stupid stuff that I know about, but Pedo Hunter probably attracts some of the most interesting individuals. Justify best moral justification is the right to be wrong to people and feel morally superior. I'm completely butchering that quote that Chud Logic uses all the time.
My intent wasn't to create dialogue directly to YouTube, but it did. Like, they responded being...
Personally, I like the Nietzsche quotes. God is dead. We have killed him. And be careful. If you look into the abyss for too long, the abyss will look back. Basically saying, beware. Fighting in a war for too long, fighting against monsters for too long might turn you into a monster. Very old adage there that I think holds a certain amount of metaphorical and literal truth.
Like, hey, we're going to re-review this. And then I got emailed by like one of their higher ups being like, hey, I'm going to work with you on this. So
this is on Pedo 2, the prior one?
No, this is on this one.
The new one, yeah.
Oh, okay. You got emailed by YouTube. What did they say?
I mean, that's the same thing you get if you bitch enough in like a regular tweet, right? Like,
exactly.
I don't know if the video necessarily. I mean, yeah, it's just, dude, I don't know. It's
this is just way too wishy-washy. I don't know why these two guys are going with that. Nick is probably just really being careful. Same with Tom. Probably why the perfect place. And MamaMax is playing this really strongly, close to the chest. You can watch this whole thing yourself. I think I established all the points I wanted to using this particular thing. Let's take a particular interesting sort of a tangent now, okay? Not going to be directly related, but it is a point I wanted to make. Definitely some, love bombing I established in that one video. Weaponizing of the fan base. Ableton here sort of establishes he does it. A lot of people already established that. Take that with a grain of salt, but I believe that's established. His standard for evidence really is established. Not trying to establish any of that or make those claims. Plenty of people have. So you're looking for that sort of establishment of evidence. Don't look here. I'm sort of trying to get some insight onto him. And definitely the sort of friendship connection thing can be found all around the mulberry bush. And I might have not, because when did these sort of people sort of disconnect from him? And how much of a connection does he have? I would like a lot of his former friends to speak out, but none of them are, except for Mudahar, and he seems to be really reluctant. I would like to know a lot of the other people's experience. Besides Leon Lush, yeah, I knew him. He was in those circles. He seemed like a good guy. Were you close to him? Did you really get close to him or anything like that? I don't know. You're telling me absolutely nothing there.
Too easily.
Okay.
Have you tried levitating yourself and/or objects around
No,
you?
I haven't, Max. No, I haven't. I guess these are the video games he's done. I don't even know. Look at some of this content. Life sucks. Definitely trying to cultivate a certain audience. First one, talent. Ooh, the video will change. Get bored, get a girlfriend, backstabbers. Already written over his sort of Sinnoh content with that. And I'm wondering if this is like Rice Gum imitation, here's the one. His good buddy, Elvis. He seems like the closest person with that. Elvis the alien.
Collaboration with Elvis the alien. I know a fuck ton of you already subscribe to him, but for any of you that aren't and don't know who he is, pause the video and go subscribe to him right now. He's wonderful. He got me to 10,000 subscribers just like that. He got me like 2,000 or 3,000 subscribers all in one sitting. So that was wonderful. Thank you, Elvis. Show him that I'm not worthless. Okay. Thank you guys, and I hope y'all like the video. I'm Max.
Let's see. What should Elvis do today? He feels like working on a substantial project, one that will involve a ton of editing, entertainment, freedom, and mankind. But that does not change the fact that they will always need more money. And until more people realize that they are biting off more than they can chew, they're going to keep biting off as much as they can. And it's just sad knowing that the people that YouTube...
Don't buy YouTube Red. It's a goddamn waste of money. Don't do that. Can we all just give a round of applause to Elvis here? I want everyone clapping here.
Yes,
those of
praise.
you who haven't subscribed to him already, go ahead and do that. Go right now. I want to personally thank Henry Alton, Gior, Kuzmus, Morbid
Personally,
Sanity.
remember, Patreons.
You want? Okay. Hamill, he's the best. Yeah,
Not that this
he
is
always just
common. Just he's just so over the top with this. Upload. Why did he have to leave? They helped me with my stress. Maybe it's YouTube itself being a pain in the ass. Probably the sad thing. Blah blah blah. listen to people. That's my guess. Want to start putting work in my videos. School makes it hard. So that sort of dates them. I'm guessing high school. This makes sense. Yes, we have Elvis the Alien. So let's go quickly back to the past. Back to another source. Beautiful stuff. Beautiful bean footage. And I'm back here to good old hot, wet soup. Already covered most of this. Remember,
I can suck
Max
my own
can
dick.
suck himself.
Oh,
Yep,
shit.
beautiful.
No. Like
Marilyn
No,
Thank
I
you
really
for
can.
beautiful
I really can do that.
bean
No way.
footage. Okay, beautiful stuff. Let's see how this group of friends, because I wanted to sort of bring it up in my video. They have this little section which is reiterated in the sort of some of the podcast between Sino and MamaMax. Quiet place for friends. Actually, I would like to talk to Jojo ASMR, former Sino. If you're out there, you want to talk, give me a ring. Same with Bionic Pig, Elvis the Alien. Oh, Zaptai, what about him? Let's see. Bionic Pig, big man, almost 1 million subscribers. He's out of commentary. Makes sense. What he says in the podcast that he wasn't really cut for it. Okay, anything? No comments. Guess not showing us support. Not a really great friend, I guess. Okay, well, you know.
What were you gonna say, Max?
Not really great friends nowadays. You know, people, they even bring it up themselves. Elvis the Alien. Okay. Ooh, over 1 million, almost 2 million. Talking about media also. Okay. Anything? Nope. All this stuff. Nothing. I think I checked the Twitters. Maybe not. Doubt they're going to say anything. They're above it all now.
Spread my pinky toe
Okay.
from my foot, like real
Obviously not coming out to bat for their old buddy Max. Okay. Finally, Zaptai. Zaptai. Oh, wait. What happened to Zaptai here? Okay. What did happen? Okay. Yeah. I shouldn't actually
Is it fun, by the way? 'Cause
do
I've
that
always
sort
been
of
interested
stuff
in
here.
that.
wanted to do that shit.
I got it. And let's go back to Turkey Tom. I think he is actually, you know what? Let's go to my old buddy, someone that I actually really enjoyed. I wish he would have done a little bit more. End of Hot Wet Soup, where someone came in and sort of brought it up. And don't excuse me of poisoning the well. Just sort of a fact check here. Okay. Little comment 6 years ago. You think that they were trying to cushion the blow from any alleged drama coming his way? Maybe that's the case for Elvis and Bionic, but I have my doubts about I'm Alex. In my opinion, he wanted the drama. For what reason? It's unclear. It's clear he wanted the drama game, either due to views or teenage bullshit reasoning. The reason I believe this and his exportations of the word sociopath, which is weaponization of freaking mental psychology. I don't know what I was thinking. Him weighing in, I guess maybe Zaptai brought up this sort of thing, which involved in hackers. But I can't find that on his backlog because all his content's gone and not all his archives are complete. P.S. I thought it was funny seeing Sino, Max's friend, podcast mate, weighing in. Sino was sort of a joke in the community. Keemstar sort of called him out for being a spineless. So he moved to ASMR. I mean, he could be, but I don't really see why. He went from like 14K to 85K in a month. So I don't see outing a friend as a sociopath would have helped him on any level. Maybe he was right. Sino's tweet, yeah, I saw it. Ha ha ha. Alex is doing the same thing. He's doing pretty well with unreliable. Never said he did it to grow off. I have a strange feeling he's playing the commentary community, maybe YouTube in general, like a chess game. Think you're giving him too much credit? Probably. I did say try. Maybe a game more like speed checkers, blah, blah, blah. Getting into joking. No reason to out. See, other people are, yeah. Wonder why that random shark didn't.
Sorry, community Zaptai.
Now, personally, I have mixed feelings about the video. I don't think that it was toned correctly, the information was poorly relayed, and the core of the message was danced around with how they felt about the situation instead of what the audience really needed to know. That's why I think the video is getting the response that it is. Well, that mixed with a few of the tweets that came out after the fact, which we'll get into a bit later. So first, let me say that I don't know anything about sociopathy aside from the definition that I just looked up. A sociopath is a person with a personality disorder manifesting itself in extreme antisocial attitudes and behaviors and a lack of conscience. However, even though that seems to be where the emphasis is for most people, I don't think labeling him as a sociopath really matters. I think the term is more being used as a reasoning for the things that he does or did. In my eyes, it bears little relevance as to what the actual meat of the podcast was about. It's just a term that gives context as to how he could have done some of the things that he's done. And I feel like people are having a hard time getting past whether or not he's a sociopath or not. That I've seen have been suggesting that it might just be a publicity stunt for Bionic Pig, Elvis, and I'm Alex, but I think that's a pretty stupid conclusion. For one thing, this video is not monetized, they're getting no money off the situation, and even if they were, Zaptai apparently has the reins to the finances, so it's pretty illogical. As
Not illogical. If you think he'll give you social capital, like MamaMax admitted himself, his channel isn't monetized with all his edgy content. There is social capital to be gained. Okay. And getting ahead. It's a terrible rats race game. I think it was a bad move done by stupid people with very limited sports side, or maybe just worried about the sort of backlash that these allegations could bring down on them. So, yeah.
I can't really combat that response, but I don't really see much reasoning for them to do so. They were all on Zaptai's good side as far as I can tell. Plus, Zaptai has less subscribers than two of them, and I just don't really see much of a reasoning to it personally. I don't really see the benefit. So disregarding those two opinions, let's dig into what I think they were trying to convey with the podcast. And now I'm not going to argue whether or not he's a sociopath, as I stated. Now, like I said, people get stuck on the labeling. It was kind of a stupid starting point for the podcast, in my opinion, and it did really seem like they were trying to push that label. But this is third-hand information at this point from what I can tell. After Zaptai had cheated on the girl they discussed in the video, I think that was the reasoning, or maybe just his depression, he or they decided it would be good for him to go see it. It's a justification as to how or why he could have done some of the things that he did. But the next big point is one that I think a lot of people overlook.
Friends of mine had managed to guess off of situations that we had managed to keep quiet.
Now, I think this is the biggest reason that they actually decided to make this video. They were attempting to make this video to cushion the blow for their friend. As I'm Alex says, people he knew were already being able to guess of some of Zaptai's wrongdoings, and if the right person found out, they could have really made Zaptai look a lot worse. So they decided to try and cut it off before it got there. Now, did they do a good job of it? Again, I don't really think that they did, but we'll get back to that later.
That Ed had been cheating on multiple people.
Yeah, a bit boring. Really was just coming here for the memories, for the lulls. Been watching this community for quite a while now, and you can see that reflected in some of my comments among it. Surprised I don't have more comments, but I feel more comfortable in some smaller content creators. Just sort of the way it goes in general. But yeah, you see someone, the friendships are very, very weak. You got to cut ties rather quickly. It's just funny that no one really comes forward, and like sort of what they were talking about in the other story here. And yeah, let's talk about the friend. Take a look at this clip. Not too long, That's
because it was a long video. Yeah, there's definitely some things that should be different in this whole situation, just because it's not that and I don't want to sound like I'm discounting the story, right? Because it's not what I aim to do. I'm just trying to say I need to the story is very confusing to somebody jumping in. So the last video you made with Charlie in the title, thumbnail, everything.
Also established
one of the problems that I
a
had
month
was,
ago,
the first 10 minutes
November.
It was just
end of
you showed some
November.
screenshots, and the problem is I have to pause constantly to
Before
only
the
show them for,
recent
half a
one
second
where
each,
Linux was
times,
there.
which made it really hard to follow. And the screenshots that I did see, yeah, they were very sexually charged, but they were lacking a lot of context that made me look into, the thing is, the story, I don't think it necessarily needs the dramatization, because this is a vampire cult leader, allegedly, and that's enough to grab a headline. But the thing is, the story needs to be told in a super cohesive manner, because I think that's what everyone's problem is, right? They walk into this thing, they only know the words Cameron Gerard Davis, and then they know Spencer, and then they hear about a girl going missing, but that's but beyond that, it's not cohesively put together. So that's the thing you need first. You need to have a whole, whether it be an hour-long video that details the story from the beginning, middle, and I know there's no end to this because justice hasn't been served, but if you give a beginning and the middle, I think everyone is going to be attracted to the story, and they're going to look into it, and they're going to cover it, because that's one of the things that I'm not saying I'm shaky covering this video, or I don't want to talk about it. It's just the concept is I work on a lot of evidence in a way, right? And I don't want to say that your situation doesn't have evidence to it. The thing is, it needs to be presented well in a video for me to digest, consume, and then go into it, because it is an incredibly confusing story as it is told right now. If you have a cohesive story, I don't think you need to worry about reaching out to YouTubers. They'll immediately jump in and cover it, right? And that's the most important part. You talk about law enforcement, right? And how they don't want to listen to you, and I totally understand that. Law enforcement barely works, even when you have all of the facts. But that's the best you can do is when you have all the facts. Because if you present a story the right way and you take that to law enforcement channels, because YouTubers aren't going to fucking do anything presented well and you have a proper story, be actionable more so than they were if your story is a little haphazard at the beginning, right? That's the only
is such a huge case, and I'm already too close to it. Like I already know like all the details. I don't know what other people need to know, and I just assumed everyone would go to the podcast. But you're absolutely right. And that's exactly what we're going to be doing.
Yeah. The thing with like a 5-hour video is like it's going to be a million. It's going to be way too.
And did he do that? Did he present it? Did he present it properly? Or did he keep trying to debate the critics of it?
Difficult for anybody to digest because it's 5 hours. It's a lot to go through.
Absolutely.
Like what people just need is like I'm not saying like you cliff notes the story, but you gotta, because
Yeah.
again, all we know are like 2 names. And I remember the most important aspect that visually strikes me is the missing poster that I saw in your video. But like this guy, we need to know who he is from beginning, middle, and an end, right? Like it's not the amount of victims we need. It's just like how is he hurt one victim in a cohesive manner, right? Like that's the story that needs to be told. Like the methodology. Like yeah, he runs a cult, but let's explain how this cult is, what this cult is, the name of this cult, like how it spreads and hooks onto its victims and target this as a cult and then show it in practice. Probably the most important thing to have, right? And it's not just like condensing the story. It's I think also then show
How much does Mutahar needs to go on? He's just I would get frustrated at this point. I get your point. Okay, this is incredible calm. I have to assume this is act. There's a lot of the stuff that seems like act, and you can sort of tell with the mass breaks for him. Like they're in some of the lyrics sort of a debate. He walks away after Mutahar comes on to sort of he cuts him off. Just some odd behaviors with him. And he's definitely involved.
And individually covered with him is like we looked into his court filings, we looked into his law cases, we looked into a bunch of situations, and a lot of it is looking at how he operates and how you can show that methodology to the average viewer, because that's what's going to hook him, right? You can't, like, a situation like this is so tough to appeal to emotion, in my opinion, at least. Like if you want to touch cults and you want to touch child predation,
And that's all Max is good for. Play. He seems to be his hook. Emotional hook. I empathize. I can listen. Okay. I'm listening to you. Okay. Believe in me and I'll do you right. But he didn't. He failed on that behalf.
predation.
I
Because
really
it's a serious issue.
I really appreciate that, man. Thank you. And that is what we're working on now is building the timeline. That'll be our next upload.
Yeah,
I feel like the only way to avoid this controversy, that I guess, is this whole situation is embroiled, because I don't think it's good controversy in any capacity. Like, I get that people are talking about it, but they're not talking about any of this in a productive manner. Your first video should have easily been like this whole story, and then, like I said, like anybody would have covered it. Like I talked about a charity situation like a week or two ago with Solid Story to start off with, or and that's the real issue.
Yeah, I assumed everyone.
And you didn't criticize him about the whole brand shift. Was this before or after the brand shift of God Cult? Jeez, the timeline's fucked for this story.
If they wanted to know more, they would just go to the podcast, because that was to help Spencer build their own platform. But I do understand that not everyone's going to click on the podcast or watch the whole 5 hours. But thank you so much for sharing that with me.
Yeah,
I definitely needed.
I heard you.
Yeah.
Listen
And
and
again,
believe.
it's not like the dramatization of child exploitation. When I say over dramatization, I mean like I'm used to making dry videos. Like I only found about they talk more about.
Mohar's just going on and on and on, and this is just this how you talk to a friend. You need to get them on the stream to explain this stuff. This seems like something you would do offline. And why is this? Is this even there? And support. Okay, lots of things. The friendship angle. Go back to Nicholas's little stream here.
Ryan Reynolds here for Mint Mobile.
And take a look at this sort of a thing here. I mean, there's not much. I covered most of the stuff that I think is relevant in either my last stream with A Quiet Place, my little edit. Okay. Establishing the sort of timeline between the first 2 girls within that.
But like me making a statement, it's actually impossible. Let me explain why it's retarded to assume anybody could be running a fucking thread. You don't have any proof. You have no idea what the post came from. You have no idea what the OP poster
Yeah,
is. It could be
came
anyone.
on
It could be you. It
much
could
more
be me. It could be
bloated than it
anybody.
needs to
How can
be.
you make an assumption? Like this is one of the things that
Mutahar
drives
just
me.
can
It goes
talk
back
and
to the
talk and
Steve
talk.
Bannon, Gerard Davis shit.
He knows that better than Tommy C. Somebody who's been like, I think there was like QR codes about Max like sexually dominating him that were going around and stuff like that.
Yeah, this
And,
sort of shit is
that he had
disgusting
videos
also.
of some kind that Tommy had to react to, insinuating that Tommy, who's been molested himself, is like a
Tommy's a
pro
CSA
pedophile.
survivor. I
He's
didn't
literally
know
a
that until
survivor of CSA.
And he just lets his little minions, like Craig Beckett, proven to have been sexed in with a minor. Okay. Even though he had a girlfriend, even the girlfriend was defending him online, if my memory serves me correct. Angry Slug. Okay. I hear he's a proven doxer. I think he'll even admit that. Tried to sort of get a Magatar to give him evidence that he was being harassed. And when he gave him evidence, oh, look, he doxed these people. No, to dox people, you need to have malicious intent. Okay? He did not have malicious intent. You were looking for him to slip up, and that's how it went. It's just a retarded sort of a stupid little language games. And these sort of, I hate calling certain people clout chasers, but someone like Angry Slug, who really just does a lot of stuff, dense crack of a head, really doesn't help with much of this at all.
Yeah, and by giving that information, he's been like ridiculed in his chat and stuff like that for putting.
It's not like he has an IP address of the original poster that happens to be the same static IP address of like Magnetar. Which even then, by the way, it's still not conclusive evidence because you can have a shared IP address from time to time. That's how a lot of these big ISPs work. This whole fucking go on half cocked and talk about these serious allegations. Here's the thing about people that hunt pedophiles. Okay, they have the easiest PR win in history.
Yeah,
who the fuck is going to go up against a pedo hunter?
They should.
Yeah, and if you get it wrong, who's going to believe the pedophile? Oh,
yeah, like,
you're saying you're not a pedophile? That's exactly what a pedophile would say.
Yeah, like you can get things. You could probably get a few things wrong in a pedophile case as long as you reasonably prove the other person is a fucking legitimate predator. Because at that point it's like, oh, cool, okay, I'm sorry that like.
Yeah, it's like he wants everyone to just trust him. Just trust me. This guy's a pedophile. Guys. Trust me.
Yeah.
Which it's
the same
and
belief.
He's able to do that because people look at him and go, "Oh, he's the pedophile hunter." I had a conversation with Night Docs. I'll use him as an example. He was very adamant that Max is doing stuff because he's a filmmaker who really takes the CSAM stuff really seriously, and he's trying to put people away or whatever. And like, it was justification for some outrageous video he made saying that like it was.
And he's a really nice guy. He listens very well. He responds in the correct manner. Gives praise, even from the detractors. Respect. I really respect you. Always establishing how much you like him, how much he respects you, or how funny Keem is.
It was YouTube love. What's the quote, guys? We watched it on the last stream. Let die the pedophiles you love, or suffer the children, or something like that. As if that's any way to talk to a corporation that you want to get something done on.
One of the things that I had this discussion with Max even about too.
Yeah, it definitely seems like a power play. Like the power is going to his head. He's trying to get away. And in the Half Baked podcast, Nicholas even brought up, "Are you going to do this a third time?" The answer should have been like, yes, if need be. But no, I hate doing this one. And why do it again? Because it's needed, I guess. Because of this news story. There's always going to be new victims. There's always going to be new things out there to sort of do it. Why can't he find a very solid case to build this on? You could have used any sort of pedophilic case. Why did you go with this sort of outlandish story that really wasn't documented well to build the back off of? Why? Why did he have to do it? I think, personally, the speculation here, I think he was just pressing his luck. Keep trying to go more outrageous, more extreme, and see how much he could get away with under this. And who knows what he's going to do now? His credibility is probably shot. I don't think he can turn this around legitimately, okay? He just pressed his luck. And definitely, I'm hoping this is going to make the pedophile hunters actually come out, think about it. People hold them to a higher standard. Yeah, everyone hates pedophiles. Most people, should I say. There are some crazy people out there like Vito who jokes about it, allegedly, and people like Mr. Girl who wants us to have empathy. But the general public is not going to be understanding of that, because the general public realizes you let one pedophile get a few kids, those kids are going to be messed up in life. It's a vicious cycle in reality. Trauma, that's the most likely cause for pedophilia, is early childhood abuse. It's just a vicious cycle. And that's the most established sort of idea behind it. There's also some mental retardation that sort of works into it, but that's besides the point.
Well, I mentioned it in the YouTube video. I can't say that I had this discussion.
No, can't say I did. YouTube, whoever YouTube is.
When YouTube wasn't playing ball with him initially, I had to pretty much sit down and like just explain, like, when you make threats of violence, even to a pedophile, they're going to take your video down, and it's not because they're protecting pedophiles, because you legitimately broke TOS.
And it's crazy that you have to sit down and talk to someone about that, or you have to explain that to someone publicly, because like if it wasn't a pedophile, everyone would understand it. The only other time I've seen anything like this in history is when fucking Axeman made a comment about doxing a YouTube employee and had to be told why that was a bad joke to make. You know?
Yeah,
was. It's so annoying that I have to explain this to people. And like you have to even explain it to Max, because it makes me wonder, like, does he know this? And like, did he need Mutahar to tell him that? Or did he kind of just hope that no one would say anything because it was probably the thing that
Yeah.
would get him more views for that video, and that's what pisses
No
him off
clue.
more.
I think with
Yeah, just
tired of those boring
beautiful.
stickers that
Do. Done with this.
Reaches out to Joe Rogan just for altruistic reasons. That's like
Yeah.
that's a status.
Remember,
symbol.
Mudahar is the he wins. He's a friend, but
Yeah, I
not
mean,
really
like,
a
the thing is, at
friend.
the end of the day, it's like if he wanted to like get the audience's attention to reach out to like law enforcement. You know what his video should have been? This is like what he should have filmed. He should have filmed the video.
Yeah,
that
I feel a
documentary
little bit
over how
stupid.
all he had done was like make a video. Would have fucking hit Dexerto. That would have hit any news organization right there. I mean, who doesn't like stories about police malfeasance, bro? That goes everywhere.
Yeah.
That would have been like the first fucking Hassan reaction we would have seen on that day.
But no,
Right?
just
This
assume
law
the police are
enforcement agency found the
incompetent.
CSA victim. Let's go over how. And he could have gone over every single report, rape kit that they made, and how they fucking never acted on it, how they never went through with it, how all of
Yeah,
this shit was fucked up
establish
anyway.
it.
And then the call to action at the end could have been, hey, listen, if you want to see some fucking justice done, maybe you do have to get
else that might have been wrong.
Yeah, and for what it's worth, I can't speak for the girls, but I'm more than happy to talk to you guys again. And to be honest, like we had all kind of like moved past this the
Yeah.
last few years, but I don't know if you know this, Muda, and maybe you don't have to review it necessarily, but it was during lyrics.
Oh,
part,
the apology?
and a little bit before that on Max's stream the other night. But he talked about me again and like said like 12 times in that stream that Anthony's a pedophile. It's proven by his behavior.
That
but I don't have
was
any
something that
evidence.
happened the other night. He was laughing about it on stream, being like, "Well,"
Constantly, he's saying Anthony Field, Magnus.
and people were
all the
asking for evidence. He's like, "Well, would you like to see his penis?" Like it was
Yeah,
really, it was
most
really
people,
awkward.
And that's like the only reason I've been like into like shit again this last weekend.
And that's
because
the part that
he-
frustrates everybody. Even Chud Logic said it himself. If you could show us evidence that this person sent a dick pic to a minor, some really very specific example that he's claiming, that sounds like it could have a paper trail.
Yeah, and you don't need to even show it on stream. Okay, yeah, I want to see evidence of this.
All of us would disavow. Absolutely. Everyone would immediately disavow. But the fact that he's like indicating that he doesn't have anything to work with off of this, and it just happens to be another family friend or something, like a friend of his sister, because everybody in the scenario from every single drama that he's been in that's gone bad for the last 2 years just happens to tangentially have gone to his fucking high school. From fucking Spencer to fucking all the girls, obviously, to Anthony, to the person Anthony supposedly sent his dick to. All these people just went to school together. It really calls into question everything else he's saying, yeah.
Now
Yeah.
it's just a matter of like what comes.
And what I want to bring up with the friends is some of this previous work is going to come in question. Even if it has legitimate means, if what he's worked on, this is going to stain his previous friends. Videos might have to go down. Or at least looked into a little bit more deeply. This is going to stain a lot of people out there. It's not going to... I don't see how MamaMax can make a recovery from this. I sort of don't want to see what he's going to do next, given all this stuff. Because when you back someone like this into a corner, who knows how they're going to react? And I think he's really at his last ends and just becoming more unhinged and more unraveled. And I'm sort of concerned about that, given how well things have been going for so long. Maybe he'll just be like, okay, need to get help. Go off and get some legitimate help for the problems he has. But he's not going to be able to come into this space again. Seriously. I can't imagine how they're going to pull that off even.
Next now with Max, like what comes next for this new, because the story really should be, instead of this getting turned around and like everybody in the commentary space is now trying to refocus this onto like a question of Max's ethics. It's like, how do we touch the situation again?
As
And
it
how do we
should.
do what Max was supposed to do and help these victims, you know? Because I think,
How do
like,
you
here's the thing,
establish
poking
that they're
holes in Max
actually
is, like, one
evidence?
thing
You
for
should
sure,
have
and it should
established
absolutely
that
be investigated
first.
100%, but it's like it should be done 100% with the guys that like, not the guys, sorry, it should be done 100% with the belief that we're not just
There's just between networking, clout, friend of a friend, just trusting them, taking them for their word. I've dealt with this before. It was small potatoes comparison to something like this. This is taking the serious sort of parasocial networking of content creation to absolutely extreme. I thought the super mega drama was something. And I'm starting to see some hope with this stuff coming forward, at least in these sort of sexual allegations. But there's also a lot of shit out there in the culture that I could almost compare. The same standards I think should be set. But I'm not going to cancel anyone or degrade anyone for not actually having a serious looking to make sure what they're saying is correct, that they build the rest of their criticisms or comments or commentary off of. I mean, there should be some room for just some downright stupid fun, but it shouldn't be in some particular areas within our discourse. At least I don't believe it should be. You base your beliefs, any of your beliefs, off of something factually incorrect. Hate me if you want, but the Kyle Rittenhouse is just such a clear-cut case of people actually not looking at the evidence and just deflecting to other questions. What and you know what? If Kyle Rittenhouse becomes, this horrible person in the future, they're gonna post hoc rationalize, be like, we were right. No, you driven him into a corner. And this is why he's doing all this. You can't actually drive someone into a corner. And when they go to the only people that they believe to be on their side, in Kyle's Rittenhouse case, right wing, say he was always that way. No, you drive people in certain places. And the reverse is true in this particular case here. You drive Kyle Rittenhouse, you drive MamaMax, who knows where he's going to go with this. And with his personal, I'm hoping it turns out okay and Max gets whatever help, takes whatever time he needs to sort of go with this. Because the longer, I think this sort of encouragement, this sort of a parasocial relationship with his audience isn't healthy for MamaMax. And legitimately, he needs to get some help to sort of mitigate this. And hopefully the community will learn from this and have certain standards, not cancel people or be too harsh, just gentle guidance. Nick isn't green, MamaMax. You could even see the sort of Amber Heard's Johnny Depp trial. Kyle Rittenhouse. There's a lot of cases, a lot of different places. I may be putting the standard on something like what I comment on with video games, the woke and not woke. Personally, I think a lot of these people going, oh, it's woke. And a lot of the other sides saying, oh, what's wrong with CRT, the racism? I see the same exact problem on both sides. They don't want to actually acknowledge the truth because acknowledging the truth might hurt their particular worldview, narrative. We should be more open to this sort of gray space, but everything's always a binary. I'm not saying a standard should be fixed. Every particular example of everything out there needs to be out there. And the sort of content creation creates certain people of certain personality types that will probably lean towards certain ways. They'll fall into some sort of nepotism and social dynamics where they don't want to call out their fellow content creators. A great example of that is the skeptics from back in the day. Hentai reviews. I mentioned that completely earlier. It seemed weird. He went from comforting depressed, lonely teenagers online to going into hentai reviews. But a lot of people forget his sort of a YouTube hell started off with him trying to insert hentai, censored hentai, into his sort of little artistic pieces. And when he went into pedo hunting, he tried to do artistic acts of sexual abuse. And that was just like a line that I think was one of these way out there things that just completely had people go off the rails. But yeah, certain standard out there. I don't think it should be that simple, but we should definitely see signs. Sexual content around someone with a large young fan base is probably a mistake. The parasocial relationship that goes beyond logic and evidence. And yeah, I know emotion, attachments, loyalty are all important values, but maybe you give a little bit more fair or funny sort of a pushback to the people that you don't agree with, and you try to give them some wiggle room. And as much as I want to shit on Nicholas DiOrio, he handled this sort of combo much better than a lot of the other people would have, because he's been in the game long enough. He has that sort of skill. I really don't like it when he uses his sort of abilities to make him degraded, which he's definitely done before. But yeah. I milked this as much as I can. I said as much as I can. I don't even know how I could make a part 3 of this. I think I'm just done with this live stream. Unless something else comes out or follows up on with it, I'm done. Bye.